and battered around, been sent up and I've been shot down. You're the best thing that I've ever found. Handle me with care. Reputation's changeable, situation's tolerable, but baby, you're adorable. Handle me with care. I'm so tired of being lonely. I still have some love to give. Won't you show me that you really care?
Everybody's got somebody to lean on. Put your body next to mine and dream on.
I've been fobbed up and I've been fooled. I've been robbed and ridiculed in daycare centers and night schools. Handle me with care. Been stuck in airports, terrorized, sent to meetings, hypnotized, overexposed, commercialized. Handle me with care. I'm so tired of being lonely. I still have some love to give. Won't you show me that you really care? Everybody got somebody
To lean on.
Put your body next to mine and
Dream on.
I've been uptight and made a mess, but I'll clean it up myself, I guess. Oh, the sweet smell of success. Handle me with care.
Yo, I seen everything change when they're lucky. They only act like just for fashion. Before I ever made people in the rapping, they want a good time for my fashion. I see you fashion week, see you fashion show. I'm just trying to take you home, make you have no clothes. Remember I was basic, didn't have no soul. If I had no dough, would you have it Joe? I'm just spending P, I need a PA, VIP, they see you, they be relay. I show love, I don't trust, hey, my B-Day. Outside, there ain't no delay. I met African girl, she was bush off with a party in your room. She gave me good love, yeah, it was a good time.
Make me feel good.
Loving you isn't the right thing to do. How can I ever change things that I feel? If I could, baby, I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. You can go your own way, go your own way. Tell me why everything turned around. Packing up, shacking up, so you wanna do. If I could, baby, I'd give you my world. Open up, everything's waiting for you. You can go your own way, go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. You can go your own way, go your own way. own way. You can call it another lonely day. You can go your own way. You can call it another lonely day.
Well, we are indeed back again, right? Who'd have thought it? It is indeed Friday. Hopefully, you're having a great night, great day, great afternoon, great morning, wherever you may be in this absolutely insane world that we live in. It is mayhem, chaos, if you like. Of course, yeah, order out of chaos. I wonder where that comes from. Answers on a postcard, right? Anyway, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever it may be. Thank you for joining tonight, this Friday, live from the rolling hills of Murrayshire in the northeast of bonnie Scotland. Do you know it? Of course you do. Everyone knows it, right? Surely. Good old Elgin here in Murray. Let me, before we start, hopefully, we can get an audio check, right? And I'll quickly say hello. And a bit like the first 9/11 Bill Cooper live that we done, where we touched on the day broadcast from Bill Cooper, which I think went for about 10 hours solid. I mean, how do you do that? 10 hours just constantly taking calls. And I think in the first one that we done, we touched on, well, we covered the first hour. I think it was the first hour that was done. And today we're going to be covering the last hour. And it's quite interesting. There's quite a few bits. I might jump in from time to time, although I don't really want to be fair, but we can always discuss at the end. Quite an interesting one, although you can make up your own mind on that for sure. So we will get into it a wee bit more if I can work. If I can work the stream right. So, how's everyone getting on? Have you had a good week? Are you doing anything this weekend? What do people even do these days? The weather's been a bit funny. Shock horror. It was actually not bad today, but the wind, man, fucking hell. It was that bad I had to swear. We've got Justine, our good friend, back again in the audio. Seemingly, it's good, right? It sounds great at least. So that helps. Good to see Justine back again. We've got Frank, the information tank. Always good to see our brother Frank in the hood. United, we can never be defeated. Yeah. Why the created chaos strategy, hence the daily lie-in. Yeah, daily. I mean, even that's an understatement. Oh man, every 2 minutes there's an article. Just pure deception being printed as we speak. Every second, basically, somewhere in the world. Deception is at hand, right? So good evening to Frank. Our brother back again. Who else did I see? Our Scottish sister, Jacqueline. A beautiful name back again. Good to see you. JP in the hood. Good to see you back again. Jojo Gizmo back again. Good to see you in the hood. Who else did I see? It's a duck. Great stuff. Good to see you back again. What was that? It was my phone. We might get a guest on tonight. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the score is. Hopefully we can. If not,
I might open up the panel. So if anyone's brave enough, let me know, and we could maybe get a in real time discussion. But we'll see. We'll take it from here. I'll say hello, and then we'll get into the Bill Cooper. I think the audio is half an hour, right? So I'm hoping tonight to go until about. Do you know this? I'm not even going to say. What's the point? There's no point. We go until the fire's out, right? Basically, and that'll be that. Who else did I see? Memento Mori. There you go, back again. I remember the name because I can't pronounce it. Man, I need good easy names like Dave, right? Who is indeed back again from Netherlands. Fantastic. Great stuff. Who else did I see? Neil, there you go. Neil Cairns, back again. Good to see you, brother. So yeah, much appreciated. Hopefully everyone's doing all right tonight. But the wind, wow, it's been one hell of a windy day. I know what they'll be blaming, right? It's all them bacon rolls. All them pig farms that done it. Yeah, so climate change, I guess. That'll get the blame. No doubt about it. Let me grab a drink. Double vodka tonight. All right. If only. Oh man, it's the coffee. I can't even pronounce the name of the coffee, so I couldn't even tell you what it is. It shows you, right? I mean, wow. Here I am drinking coffee I can't even pronounce. Little do I know. I don't even, the ingredient wise, I couldn't tell you, but it's probably horrendous. It's probably shocking, to be honest, but there you go. Although today, the coffee pods that I get, the shop that I usually get them, I went into and I asked, well, I couldn't find them. So I went on the search and I was looking around and I thought, because they move stuff quite a lot, but that is because they're basically trying to hide the fact that stuff keeps disappearing and it's not being stolen. Well, it is in a sense, but it's because they're not getting it. And we mentioned this in the live that we done about the shortages. And I asked, I know one of the ladies that works there. She stayed next to me when I was growing up, so I know her. She's known me my whole life. And I asked her, "Oh, have you not got any of the it's Nescafe coffee pods? If they want to send me some for free, knock yourself out, right? I won't hold my breath on that one." But I asked, and she said, "Oh, no." She looked at me and was like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she said, "We've hardly got anything at the moment." And I thought, "Fuck, that's not a surprise, to be fair." And I thought, right, okay. I never said much, but I thought, well, that would make sense going by what I've been hearing and seeing lately. But I guess again, the question is, will the stuff be back? Will we see it again? I'm unsure. I think a lot of items are going to start disappearing pretty rapid, and I really do hope that I'm wrong, but I think it's already happening. So we don't hide from reality. We don't we just don't. We don't deny what's going on in the world that we're in. We don't fearmonger or anything like that, but we're not going to beat about the bush. People need to start getting prepared. I shit you not. I cannot stress that enough. It's rapid becoming, well, not at the moment desperate, but it's heading that way. And it's not by accident. We all know that, but all that aside, we are going to experience issues, put it that way, because it's coming. If not already, it is coming. And the best thing we can do is, if we can, try and prepare. And hopefully, I think the goal as an individual is to try and become as self-sufficient as you can. And I know it's hard, But you've got to try. You really have, because you cannot rely. You cannot be dependent on these entities that probably won't exist. And the ones that do, they'll only deal with you if you exchange your biometric data with them. And if you've had your latest, I don't know, anything really, anything that they want, inoculation, tablet, spray, you name it, it'll be never ending eventually. They'll make juices for all sorts. We're going to live in now basically what is a pandemic prone society. It'll be riddled with all these scamdemics that kick off everywhere. Incoming strike, right? Oh man, look out. We're off to a good start. To be honest, they're in the audio that we're going to cover. There's a few bits I think that, I don't know, it could maybe get me a strike. So, hey, if we do, we do, right? If it'll only be one strike, and then we'll be back again in a week, if that is the case. But if that does happen, you'll catch me on Odyssey. Now, I tried to sync my YouTube channel to my Odyssey channel, and now I've got 2 Odyssey channels. This is why I shouldn't do stuff, right? So I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do there. I don't know whether to keep them both. I honestly don't know. So if you're on Odyssey and you see 2, one of them is me. Well, they're both me, but one of them is synced up, if you like, to my YouTube channel. And the other one I just upload to. And that's called That's Life But Not As We Know It. But the synced one is That's Life But Not As We Know It too. Yeah, I'm glad Frank finds it funny. Me and technology don't get on, right? Of course. You can only try your best. But maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise. Maybe one of them will get deleted or removed by Odyssey in the future. So we're setting the foundations over on Odyssey. I don't know, that could be the place, to be fair. I don't want to get deleted even here again. But hey, again, we're living in the real world. We're not stupid, right? We know what we're dealing with, to be honest. Who else have we got? Scotty in the hood. Good to see Scotty back again. Always a pleasure to see you. Who else? Did I miss anyone? I don't think I did. Usually I do, but there you go. So hello to everyone in the chat. Good to see you all back again, right? And chatting away. We might touch on the monkeypox stuff. If I read out that comment that I'm looking at now, that would certainly get me a strike. That's the sort of comment. It's going to get the chat removed. We've had that in the past. I think Frank maybe got it removed. We've done live streams where the live chat, you can't get it on replay. The Thought Police said no. You can't see it. It's gone, and I can't even. There's no option to put it on or take it away. They've blocked it, so they clearly don't like something that got said in the chat by Frank. But to be honest, I think it might have been Justine. Right, but you never know. I can't blame anyone. But hey, it happens. It's it was the same when I got a strike, when I done a live with Scott's Armour. You don't know what you've said or who said it, so it's no one's blame or fault. The blame lies with the tyranny and the censorship that we experience on YouTube. It is unbelievable, and it's only getting worse. I shit you not. It is. Honestly, every time I read it, I think, oh my God. I remember I done a video covering some of the guidelines in regards to medical misinformation, and what happened? It got a strike. Oh man, that was so funny. I'm unsure if we managed to cover that, but well, that cracked me up. I mean, all we talked about was what you can and can't say. And the video got a strike. Classic. But there you go, right? Happy days. We are not worthy. So, good evening to everyone. We're all good to go. Audio's great. Let me see if I can screen share. What we're going to do to begin with is we're going to go to SoundCloud, right? The platform basically used for music mostly, but there's quite a lot of stuff on it, to be fair. So that's where we're going. And of course, we're going back to the year 2001. Yeah. Do we remember it well? How old was everyone in 2001? If you're willing, if you're brave enough to put your age in the chat, let me know, right? Put it in so we can get an idea of how old people were. I reckon offhand, because I'm that bad at mathematics in my memory, I think I would have been 13-year-old or possibly 12-year-old. So I feel I was very young at the time, although maybe it affected me more than I realise. I'm unsure, to be honest. I never really took much notice of it when it happened. It was all over the news. I remember for about a week, nothing but 9/11. And then in my mind, it kind of went from that to the war in Afghanistan. And on the news, they had British aeroplanes dropping bombs in Iraq. And yeah, that made total fucking sense, that, right? Oh man, what a world. But it seemed to, since then, the world seemed to get, I don't know, it went on this mad journey that it's heading in a bad direction, to be honest. I mean, a lot of people claimed that the world ended in the year 2000. Maybe it did. We just don't know it. We're living in now a fabricated society where the sun's not even the sun. The moon's maybe not even the moon. It's a simulation, right? I mean, hey, I know they're talking about making, or they've already made, a sun simulator. So I wouldn't rule that out. I think China have made a sun simulator and a moon simulation, but it's on a small scale from what I could see. At least that's what they claimed anyway. And I have seen, in regards to the sun, a lot of strange videos in regards to the sun. Is it what they tell us? I'm unsure. I believe nothing today, right? What would you believe? What could you believe today? Not a thing. You've got to do your own digging, your own research, and maybe then you'll get a better idea. Jacqueline, 24. Yes, so yeah, 25. Toby as well. Similar age. Jojo Gizmo, 50 at the time. I think Justine was 21 as well at the time. Still 21, of course, Justine. Anyone else? Oh, she was 47. There you go. My mistake. So yeah, different ages in regards to us and myself, but maybe sort of similar effects on our, I guess, way of thinking. I think back then, maybe the majority of us, well, I was just a young lad, but I think a lot of people were fast asleep, if you like, up until then. And then they kind of woke up eventually. Maybe not straight away. But a lot of people, I think 9/11, yeah, similar to the pandemic, it showed the agenda's hand, well and truly showed it big time. I mean, they could not hide it, right? We'll expand on that a wee bit more. James as well, in the hood. What were the kids saying in class when Bush was in the class holding a book upside down? Kite, plane, steel. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, man. That is so, I mean, come on, right? And the book was I think it was Pet Goat, My Pet Goat. And we touched on that video. I mean, it was so unbelievably not what should have happened. I mean, let's face it, right? An attack like that, Bush would have instantly been rushed away to wherever it was. But that wasn't the case. That seemingly happened later. The first thing he was basically got told, in my opinion, was that it had happened. That it had went down. It was in motion. The plan. And his face, his body language, in my eyes, pretty much said it all. I mean, that is a dead giveaway. That alone is enough for me to think, hey, wait a minute. This is not right. And the stand down with the military. I mean, come on. The mightiest military in the world. And they never shot these hijacked aircraft down. They got stood down. I mean, come on, right? 9/11 again it's one of these where do you even start? There's so many different things that basically they're red flags and make you think, well, wait a minute. Maybe each one is not necessarily enough to say it was, I guess, if you like, an inside job. But when you add all of it together, the evidence in regards to seemingly the terrorists, the connections with bin Laden and the CIA, the Bush family, the things like the dancing Israelis, the van with the painted picture of the Twin Towers, the fact about Building 7, the fact the two towers came down in their own footprint. I mean, when you add all that together, I mean, come on. People have really got to say, right, this needs proper investigating. There's no room for investigation. Not even then, actually. Never mind today. And of course, the report that they done, probably funded by the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds, it never even mentioned Building 7, like it never existed. We'll just sweep that one under the carpet, right? Building 7 didn't happen, mate. Never existed. It was on BBC. Yeah. Of course, yeah. The BBC. The good old BBC, eh? Building 7 didn't kill itself, Justine said. Yeah, I like it. I like that one. Epstein, where do you start on that one as well? Wow. I mean, talk about a rabbit hole. Jesus. We might get into that in the future in regards to especially the Black Book, right? This book of names. Who's all on it? We might get into a few people. The guy from that writes the Simpsons, I think he's on it as well. I mean, everybody that's anybody in this celebrity world is basically on this book where they went to that satanic island. That's the best way to describe it, in my opinion. If Putin was against the New World Order, he'd blow up that fucking island, right? Surely. That's what I would bloody flatten. Places like that. Hey, and I could think of a few other places to flatten. I better not say too much, right? I'll be getting the knock on the door. What did you say? Get in the van. That'll be me huckled. Carried away. Straight jacket. Oh man, I can see it now. Let's not even go there, right? Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go now to... we're going to go to... It's for sale, isn't it? What, Building 7? Yeah, I'll sell you it. We're going to go to SoundCloud, right? If I can work it. Now, it'll be similar to what we went with before. I see Toby as well in the hood. Good to see. our brother Toby. Great name, Toby. I like it. Much better than mine. And Scotty, of course, Scotty is a great name, right? Yeah, classic from Justine. Yeah, Epstein Island, flatten it. Just flatten it completely. We'll grow veg there. In fact, no, let's not. Let's grow nothing there. Let's just give it back to the wild. So we're gonna. It'll be similar to like if you watched the first one that we done. It'll be similar to that where we kind of have a discussion in regards to that. Yeah, it's half an hour that we're going with today. So let me see if I can work it. Now I might jump in from time to time. So be prepared, right? It might annoy some people, but to be honest, I think it's better if I don't, but I might at the beginning anyway, and then we'll let it run, and then we'll get a catch up at the end. MCG in the hood. Mic check 1 2. Good to see you back again. Has anyone seen the documentary about 9/11? It was narrated by an ex-air hostess with 30 years experience. It focused on the planes and passengers. I think I did actually. It rings a bell. I think she covered quite a few things as well, the lady. And if I remember rightly, although I'm unsure if it's the same person that you're talking about, if you've got a link, maybe you can put it in and I can check it out. But it rings a bell, and we're going to touch on maybe that in regards to air hostesses in the phone calls, right? We've mentioned phone calls before. We've touched on them. We're going to mention it again today. Barry Jennings as well. Yeah, of course. How can we forget about Barry Jennings? Never forget Barry Jennings. He forgot. Yeah, I remembered now though. James reminded me. The eyewitness in Survivor, seemingly, Barry Jennings, who was in Building 7 when basically it started exploding. And on a phone call that he made, he was seemingly telling them that he could hear explosions coming from the other 2 towers. If you don't know of Barry Jennings, that's one you've got to look up, right? We might get into him, excuse me, as I burp. We might get into him a wee bit more. Because 9/11's one we're going to kind of dip in and out of, if you like, for as long as we're here, at least on this platform. And because there's so much, like I've just said, there's so much to get into. And I think I mean, hey, if we don't put out what is basically the true narrative in regards to 9/11, then who's going to? Bloody no one, right? It would just fade away into the abyss. That's what they want. That's why they delete anything that goes against the agenda's narrative. Now, hey, I'm not saying I'm here to preach the truth and tell the truth. Far from it. But I think as an individual, it lies on us all to be honest and open with practically everything, right? I'm not talking about personal stuff. That's entirely up to you. But on this sort of scale, this sort of level, we have to be honest as human beings and face up to the true reality of the world that we're in. And it's not a great situation, put it that way. And I know the majority of people here certainly know that, right? So we might get into that a wee bit more. Do you know this? I'll try and find it. I think I've got it on my Facebook Fugspiracy page that I made years ago. In about 2016. I'm sure I might have uploaded it. There's a Barry Jennings Corbett report done quite a lot of good work on 9/11. If you've not checked that out, you might want to. I'm unsure. I'm unsure where you would find the Corbett report today. The guy James. I'm unsure what to make of Corbett report. to be honest. I really don't know. I don't know anything these days. But you've always got to take everything with a pinch of salt, right? No matter who it is. Honestly, no matter who it is. Even big names, right? So let's now see if I can work it. Hopefully I can. Nope, I'm away on the wrong one already. Screen share, that's what we need. Yeah, I think I'll be able to work it now. I need a producer. I need someone here to basically hold my hand. Oh man, this guy's hopeless. Yeah, we know. So, good evening to everyone, and thank you for joining. We're going to get into the last hour of, I think, a 10-hour marathon broadcast that Bill Cooper done on the day of 9/11. Bill, I think, as you'll hear, we were unsure in the past, well, I was at least, what time Bill started this broadcast. And it would appear about 9:30, he said. So quite early. And of course, on that day, Bill Cooper was meant to be taken out by a specialized SWAT team because tax evasion. Yeah. Of course, they were there to take him out, but it got cancelled. And I'm unsure again as to when it exactly got cancelled. That I would like to know. It could have been on the morning, but the raid did take place late at night. So I'm unsure. We're going to get into that a wee bit more as time goes on. So let me now see if I can work it. Yeah, we've got it right. Good. We're good to go. So what I'll do is I'll mute me and then we'll go for it, right? And I might jump in from time to time. If not, we'll get a good catch up towards the end. Like I said, it's about half an hour. So here goes.
The Hour of the Time may be contacted at HOTT, that's H-O-T-T, P.O. Box 940, Eager, spelled E-A-G-A-R, in the state of Arizona, 85925. Our phone number is 928-333-2942, and our website is www.houroftetime.com.
Or whatever, since I changed the last tape. Okay, start over again and go ahead. What did Orrin Hatch say?
Okay, I'm a Canadian, and I listen to the American channels. And Orrin Hatch immediately, after a couple of hours that this occurred, said that Osama bin Laden, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Osama bin Laden?
That's correct, that he must be responsible and he should be punished.
How in the world
without any obvious evidence?
How in the world could Orrin Hatch make that statement without any evidence that Osama bin Laden had anything to do with this?
And that is exactly my point.
And don't get me wrong, folks. I'm not trying to cover up for Osama bin Laden. I just happen to believe in the law, and I happen to believe in the American way. You don't convict people and sentence them and carry out the sentence without first having the evidence that they did it and trying them and convicting them, by trial by jury and then doing it, lawfully and properly under the law.
And Bill, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
I've listened to you many times say that how do you defeat the biggest bully? You punch them in the nose.
Yep, that's right.
I've heard you say that many times.
That's true. That's the only way.
Could it be that some of the countries that have lost thousands of their loved ones through U.S. aggression finally got a punch in the nose? Is that possible?
Well, it's possible. I mean, when somebody called in and said that the Japanese Red Army were taking credit and were getting revenge for Nagasaki and Hiroshima, that's the only thing I've heard all day that makes any sense.
But
why would Osama bin Laden want to do this to the United States of America? Because he can't possibly benefit by it.
That's right. That's right. And you are so right. And I hope a lot of your listeners think about that. I really hope they do. Because the logistics of this thing, and I have all the compassion and sympathy to the families who lost loved ones, but the logistics and the brilliance of this thing is something superb, which makes me think that there are citizens of the United States in high places that knew what they were doing. And I don't know what their agenda. I know what their agenda is. I haven't quite related it yet to what happened.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you for sure that was the case in Oklahoma City. I don't know if that's the case now, but it wouldn't surprise me a bit.
Thanks, Bill.
Now, just well, almost straight away there. I mean, within hours, basically, the media had already decided that it was Osama bin Laden or Laden. I think the guy was a bit like me. He couldn't pronounce the name. Osama bin Laden. Basically, within hours, it was him. No questions. No, well, it might have been this, it might have been that. It was Osama bin Laden. Terrorists done it within hours. No investigation whatsoever. Nothing. And of course, the passports, remember? They survived. These indestructible passports that the terrorists get. I don't know where they get them, but wow. They must be expensive, put it that way. And there even seemed to be, going by what Bill said, some people thinking it might have been the Japanese. And that was the only thing that made sense to Bill. Because, of course, why would anyone else want to attack Uncle Sam? But, of course, the Japanese might have had a reason. Quite interesting, I thought, that one, right? I suppose they could have blamed whoever they wanted to blame in regards to who done it. But within hours, that was I forgot the guy's name, the broadcaster. Within hours of the attack, it was Osama bin Laden done it, and that was it. No investigation whatsoever. Anyway, let's jump back and we'll continue.
Taking my call.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling. I certainly hope that it's not true, but from all of what's happened in the last 10 years, I'm afraid that it might turn out to be. Good evening. You're on the air.
Evening, Bill. Fox News had an interview with Governor Frank Keating of Oklahoma. I kind of raised a flag to me. I don't know why they'd have this puke on for anything other than...
he's the one that found the axle from the truck in Oklahoma. Just strolling around, and he finds this axle, and he points to it and says, "That's the axle from the truck that had the bomb." How the hell would he know?
Yeah, exactly. And then when questioned about it later, he couldn't recall ever making the statement. So.
Yeah, well, he tried to get out of the fact that he's the one that found it.
Yeah, it would be real nice to have that man under oath.
It'd be nice to have him under a blowtorch. I'd get the truth out of him, I'll guarantee you.
This may sound like a stupid question, but everybody that I've been referring to is how well financed these people were. How do they know that they're well financed? It didn't seem to take a great deal of money, from what I can see, unless I missed something. Airline tickets are what, $300 a piece? So you got 4 airline tickets at $1,200. Where does all the great deal of money coming in?
Well, you have to understand that they would have had to do a lot of traveling. They would have had to, support themselves some way while they're in the process of putting all this together and training for it and going through dry runs. And if they came from a foreign country, they have to get here. It's not as simple as you make it sound. It's much more complicated than that. In fact, I know of many military operations using trained personnel who train over and 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 over again to do something, and are bright, really intelligent people, could screw something like this up real easy.
Sure.
These guys pulled it off without a hitch.
Yeah, they did. It's, of course, the easy part. Well, the part that made it a little bit easier to pull it off was that they're all dead that pulled it off. So, if there was some way of escaping, that really would have been a trick.
No kidding. And I keep hearing these people refer to them as cowards on the mainstream television. These were not cowards.
No.
These were brave men who had an agenda and were doing it for a cause that they fully believe. You'll give your life away for some stupid thing, and you don't do it if you're a coward.
That's correct.
You know how
appropriate use of the word.
You know what guts it would take to sit behind the helm or the wheel of an airplane, knowing that you're going to die in seconds and guide that plane right into the side of the building without flinching?
Yep, it would. After taking out the pilots, would you imagine that could have been done with a piano wire or a piece of weed eater cord or anything similar to that?
That could have been done with a bar of soap carved to look like a gun.
Yeah, or a pencil or
anything
else. It was interesting that one pilot was really upset over it. I heard this secondhand. I didn't hear it myself, but he indicated that he was a co-pilot and he wanted to carry a gun to protect his passengers, not on these flights, but any time, and that he was prohibited by doing so from bringing a firearm on the plane legally. But anybody with a federal badge could walk on that plane with a gun. So the way to stop terrorism, of course, is the way that you've always stopped things, is to have a good enough deterrent to where they won't do it, or to have a country that's based in more or less godly principles that really doesn't offend other countries.
Yeah. Well, I think the captain of an airplane engaged in international travel through international airspace is the same as a captain of a ship, and he can have guns if he wants to.
I would think so. Maybe this was bad information. I don't recall where I heard it.
Yeah.
Which is often the case. But I did put my tape player on as soon as it happened, so we'll see if it changes. Positive thing, we didn't have some president coming out and blaming talk radio for this, or
not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
I don't think it'll happen.
Well, I hope it doesn't happen.
I hope not either. And you remember after Oklahoma City, one of the first things they wanted to do was to disarm the American people. I don't know why. But that was on their agenda right away, too.
I don't know why either. According to them, they should have been disarming the bowels of all the cows in the country because it was fertilizer that blew up the building.
Yeah, precisely. Anyway, we know the whole story about Oklahoma, and let's hope that this one is the 1992 bombing of the World Trade Center. That was where the FBI informant, a man by the name of Salem, actually built the bomb that blew it up, wasn't it?
Well, he was one of the people who helped build the bomb under the supervision of the FBI, who showed him how to do it, taught him how to drive the van. And when they wanted to put inert ingredients in the bomb so that it wouldn't actually blow up and kill anybody, the FBI said, no, you got to put real explosives in there.
That's correct, and that's what that man testified to under oath.
Yeah, he testified to it under oath, and he also tape recorded his conversations with his FBI handler, and those tapes were transcribed and run verbatim in the New York Times.
That's correct, I recall now. Never really got too much mainstream publicity. I wonder why.
So they blamed all these guys from the Middle East, but it was the FBI that actually was responsible for the first attack on the World Trade Center building.
That's correct. So I'll let somebody else get in. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for calling. 520-333-4578. If you don't believe that, folks, don't believe me. You can get the copies of the New York Times that ran the transcripts of the tapes, and you can get the transcripts of the court proceedings of the trial of those guys who were involved in the first bombing of the World Trade Center building, and you can see for yourself. Good evening, you're on the air.
Yes, Bill.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention that you might hear this in the next few days. They might say that all that smoke that came out of that jet burning, or any of that smoke that was there, might have some biological chemical agent in it.
Oh, come on, don't get away. Go away. Bye. Go away. Don't start that Art Bell crap on my broadcast. Jeez. Please, stop it. Art Bell comes on later. You want to do that stuff, wait till he comes on and call him. I'm sure he'd love to hear that crap. Now we got the contrail nuts involved in this. Good evening, you're on the air.
Yeah, I thought I'd jump in there. You see, I love Bill Cooper. I really do. The work that he done, absolutely outstanding. When it comes to the occult, the Masonic movements, the origins of the occult mysteries, I don't think there's any better. Even today, I don't think there's many, if any, better than Bill Cooper in regards to the amount of knowledge that he put out in what he covered. I mean, it's extensive. I've probably only scratched the surface on the work covered by put out by Bill Cooper. I did ask Richie Allen what he thought about Bill Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse. Unfortunately, Richie couldn't tell me because he's never read it, which I was quite surprised. I thought he might have read it, but he's not. So, but I think he would quite enjoy it. To be honest, I think he maybe should read it, and I can see what he thinks about it maybe then. But yeah, I assumed that he had, but he hadn't. But there you go. Now, I don't know. I don't know if Bill changed his mind on the chemtrail situation. But when that person mentioned there, I mean, it wasn't even that far out of a theory or claim. Let's face it. And the guy never said that it was the case. He said you might hear stories about that possibly being the case. But Bill instantly, straight away dismissed and practically ridiculed the guy. And I mean, that there is where me and Bill are very, very different, because I mean, I'm a lot younger than what Bill was then, but no matter who or what is being said, I really can't dismiss or ridicule. And I would always take it on board, no matter what it is or was. I mean, even if it is complete nonsense, complete BS, if that is the case, give the guy enough rope and he'll do the rest, right? And that's it, case dismissed. But to instantly reject, dismiss, and ridicule, it kind of makes me uneasy. And I'm not sure if maybe that's just me. But obviously then Bill never thought that the chemtrail, I guess the chemtrail theory was worth even entertaining. I think if he was about today, I think it might be a different story, right? But we're all different as human beings, right? I mean, Bill had to deal with a lot of people, a lot of probably crazy people, put it that way, and that's rich coming from me. So he's maybe not got the time, the patience, if you like, and he only wants to deal with straight up fact. But obviously then it was the chemtrail situation was just coming about, really. And it was being dismissed all over. Look at it today. I mean, it's not, they don't even hide the fact that they're geoengineering, terraforming the planet that we're in. They don't hide it anymore. Of course they can't hide it. For eyes that can see, right? So that always kind of disappoints me when anytime I hear Bill ridiculing chemtrails or contrails, like it would be such a wacky fucking theory for either the hidden hand or the government to douse the public with, you name it, any sort of chemical. agent. I mean, come on, they've done it. I guess Bill never knew about the experiments that got carried out in 1940, 1950 in the UK and America and Russia. All at the same thing, dowsing. But it's to protect the people, right? Because in Russia, the West are bad. In the UK and the West, if you like, the Russians are bad. And of course, who gets played? Everyone. We all get fucking played. Big time. Unfortunately, right? So yeah. I mean, that sort of part of Bill, I don't like. But honestly, the work that he done is, it's truly staggering, in my opinion. And I kind of get the feeling, I can see why the agenda took him out. I mean, that guy was way ahead of his time. Way, way ahead. They couldn't have him about today. No way. No chance. And of course, unfortunately, just like Bill himself predicted, he died. He was murdered. Shot dead on his own doorstep. Bled to death. No ambulance, no medic. And of course, they shot his dog as well, right next to him. Shot him dead. And the both of them bled out on the spot. I'm unsure of the date now. But we covered that, although that's been deleted. Of course, that was on my other channel. So I'm unsure if either to upload it again or do it again, basically. So I don't know. I sometimes think it's good to maybe do it again, refresh it. So that gives us a chance, the deletion, I guess, to refresh some of the old lives that we've done in regards to maybe the new War Order, the Rockefeller Horror Show, and more in regards to Bill Cooper. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover and get into in the future. I think we've got about 15 minutes of this audio to go left. So we'll jump back to the very day, remember, on 9/11, and take it from there. I think towards the end, we met the phone calls get mentioned, and that one you certainly want to look out for. So here we go again.
Oh, goodbye. 520-333-4578 is the number. I can't believe it. The Contrail Nuts. 520-333-4578. This guy was we're going to hear in the next few days that there was contrails and biological warfare stuff in the smoke, and then we're all going to die. Good evening, you're on the air.
Yeah, Bill, this is Doug from Washington. I just got into your program here on the West Coast. I'm just wondering if someone could research the seismographs of the area. You know, they should have registered the building hitting the ground. I just wonder if there might be a seismograph wave ahead of that, maybe caused by some charges inside the building.
Well, I'm sure that somebody should be doing that. I don't know who's going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm in Arizona. But somebody in New York needs to go to the universities or whatever establishments have the seismographs up there and see if you can get copies of the tapes. And you better do it soon before they disappear, because we barely got them in Oklahoma before they did disappear.
I'll be darned. Well, I just thought I'd interject that. And
that's how we knew there was two explosions.
Yeah.
Not only did we have a tape, you see, there was a meeting going on in a building not far from the Alfred P. Muir Federal Building, and they were taping their meeting. And when the building blew up, there was two explosions, and they're both on the tape. And I have a copy of that tape. And then Michelle's husband, Dave, went to Oklahoma University and another place. I forget what the other place was, but he went to those two places, and they managed to get the tapes from the seismograph that showed positively 2 explosions, and that coupled with the sound of the explosions on this tape that these people were recording during their meeting proved absolutely there was 2 explosions. But nobody would listen, even though we had the absolute proof. Nobody would listen.
Well, I hope somebody does it. Keep up the good work. I'll get off.
Thanks for calling.
Bye.
520-333-4578 is the number. Gosh, what a long day. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello, Bill. This is Tim.
Hi, Tim.
I sure wish I would have known you were doing this all day.
Yeah, since
I wouldn't have had to listen to the bull crap all day.
Since 9:30 this morning.
Oh, boy, I missed out today then. I remember early on when the fire was really just going good and the second plane had just hit the second building, they came across and put their little words across the bottom, and they kept saying, well, we know that aluminum and steel will melt.
Who said that?
One of the newscasters, whether it was Jennings or somebody, I don't know.
Well, he's right. Aluminum and steel will melt.
But why would they?
I don't know.
That's it's one of those things. And I remember an eyewitness that was being interviewed on their close after the buildings had come down, saying that they had heard an explosion after the building was on the ground. I remember that.
I don't know.
And I saw the black helicopter too.
I just saw it a little while ago. I glanced over at the screen, and they were showing the building just after the first plane had gone into the building. There was a black helicopter flying around.
Yeah, I saw it early on, and I know John McCain got on.
Now I'm not trying to imply that means anything sinister.
Right.
I'm just saying that somebody called in and said that they saw it. I hadn't seen it before, and then there it was, right on the television.
I remember John McCain got on the air at some time early on and said, we've lived too free too long, and we're going to have to give up some of our freedoms.
He's the Manchurian candidate. He was brainwashed while he was a prisoner of war, and he's a damn communist, and that's the truth.
I agree. Have you prayed on the air today?
No, I haven't, and I don't want to do that because it's not my place to maybe say a prayer for members of this audience who may not believe as I do. But I have asked my audience on several occasions, all throughout the day, to pray for the people who died and for the people who are wounded and hurt and maimed, and for all of their families and loved ones who are going to be so hurt by all of this. And I even asked them to say a little prayer for me. I'm probably going to be praying half the night.
I prayed for you today too, Bill.
Well, thank you very much.
And all these other people that are all involved in this, and I've prayed for God to please forgive us for allowing all these non-Christians in this Christian country.
Well, if you believe in freedom, you got to let anybody live, and you have to be tolerant of them if they're tolerant of you, and just to be free, you have to understand you have to let other people do what you demand for yourself. Otherwise, freedom means nothing, and nobody's free.
Yes, sir.
So we have to do that.
God bless you, Bill Cooper.
God bless you too.
Good night, sir.
520-333-4578 is the number. I don't know if you can hear all those clicks on the phone or not that I hear. I have no idea what it is. I'm not going to speculate. Could be the Gestapo. Good evening. You're on the air.
Bill, this is Gordon.
Hey, Gordon, our truck driver reporter. What's going on?
I just pulled into Jacksonville, Florida. Everything's quiet.
Yeah? You're going to get a good night's sleep then, huh?
Yeah, I got to unload in the morning. Pastor Butch Paul, you know him.
Yeah?
He said the numbers in the Bible for your number deal.
Uh-huh.
Number 9 stands for judgment in the Bible, and number 11 stands for destruction. I thought that made little sense to me.
Well, it does if it turns out to be true. I'm going to have to go and do a little research tonight.
And that's been referred to as Babylon, New York City before. There's a little town right across from Long Island called Babylon.
Yeah, I know that too.
Yes. Okay. There was one more thing. Oh, Louis Freeh got out just in time, didn't he?
Didn't he? Yeah, didn't
he had an offer from Saudi Arabia to run their security.
I hope he takes it. I hope he takes it.
Oh, there was something else, Bill, but I'll let you go. I got to make a left turn up here when I find this place.
Are you going into a truck stop?
No, I'm going to try to park where I got to deliver, I hope.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't like you hanging around those truck stops. They got some women there that might get you in trouble.
Hey, they're beautiful down here, though.
they'll still get you in trouble. You stay away from them.
I get in trouble everywhere I go.
I don't believe that, Gordon. I think you're a pretty good guy.
Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling. 520-333-4578 is the number. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, Bill Grant. The reports I don't know if you heard the reports of the cell phone conversations, people who had cell phones in the planes.
Yeah, I've heard some of those reports, not all of them, because I'm watching C-SPAN 2 and I'm also doing a broadcast, so I'm getting snatches of this stuff all day. But I am seeing everything that they're showing. Right,
but those reports, the one was from a lady whose husband was an official there in D.C. apparently, and in her case, she said that people had knives and they were stabbing. Each of the cell phone reports from the different planes were that they had knives and they were stabbing the flight attendants. And one of them was actually a flight attendant in the back of the plane talking about how the other attendants had already been stabbed.
Uh-huh.
And so apparently they got some sort of knives there, whether they could have been some of these covert knives that are glass-filled nylon that are accessible out on the market, or it could have been they had actual blades that had been smuggled in.
Well,
I mean, those could have gotten in through the doggone meal carts or something.
Could have just been plastic.
Yeah, but I mean, it could have been those Zytel plastic. They're nylon with fiberglass in them, and that are extremely strong.
Yeah, but they don't have to be that strong. I mean, there's some plastic, just regular old plastic, that's really strong.
Oh yeah.
And you don't need an edge on it. You just need a point.
Right.
If you're going to stab somebody.
But apparently that's what they were using. They weren't using firearms.
Was the woman that was calling her husband, was this Barbara Olson by chance?
That was one of them, yes.
Okay. She's the lady that's been on Larry King Live almost every night about this condit thing for months. Did you know that?
No, I wasn't aware.
That's who she is. She's the blonde who used to be a federal prosecutor.
Okay.
One had.
Now, Barbara Olson. Yeah, it's funny. These people, right? These random people that seem to just happen to be the person who was involved, or their kid or their family member was involved. They're never your average Joe, if you like. Barbara Olson. Now, I'm unsure because I think there's a bit of confusion. Some people have called her a flight attendant. Other people say, well, she phoned her husband. But I think in the phone call, it's one to the flight control, I believe. What we'll do is we'll get back to Barbara at the end, right? We'll get back to Barbara. The Ballad of Barbara, right? Johnny Cash, classic, that one. We'll get back to Barbara because there's only about 7 minutes to go, and then we'll touch on Barbara, right? So here we go.
Yeah, I don't watch Larry King. So.
She's the one who had a real pretty smile. When she smiled, the whole place lit up. When she didn't, it didn't.
But there was somebody else who had a family member somebody who was on one of the planes from Massachusetts, and they called. I think the guy called his father and reported that the plane had been hijacked and that people had been stabbed, and so that both of the cell phone conversations that I'd heard reported on.
Now, I wonder if we're going to have legislation introduced to outlaw knives.
Well, we've got to outlaw knives because there were that Russian stabbed, killed a family with knives.
Yeah,
so we'll just have to get rid of kitchens.
That's
too.
right. Now they've hijacked 4 airplanes using knives.
Yeah.
And I want to hear what the anti-gun lobby has to say about that.
Well, we just have to keep getting rid of everything that could be dangerous.
I think we're going to have to fill out a form and wait for 7 days when we go to buy a knife.
Yeah. And what about if you make one out of something?
Well, then you're in big trouble because you don't have a license from the ATF to manufacture knives.
That's true. That's true. The zip knives won't be allowed.
Help! God help us. We're in trouble. Deep, deep trouble. Okay. Thanks for calling, my
God
friend.
bless you now.
You too. And that's it, folks. I've been on the air since 9:30 this morning all day long. I'm tired. I'm going to take one more call, and I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to go do some little research here tonight, and I'll be back on the air tomorrow night. If anything else happens, any more terrorist attacks or any kind of attacks whatsoever, I'll be on the air right when it happens. I'll call WBCQ and be right back on. Good evening, you're on the air.
Phil, on Oklahoma City, I've never heard anyone say, I've seen for myself on a major network report that just seconds before they knew it was a Ryder truck because a satellite took a picture from overhead of that exact location where the Ryder truck was that blew up. Did you ever hear that?
No, I've never heard it, and
I never had the video going or anything.
We tried for a long time to get satellite pictures because we know that there's satellites up there taking pictures of the United States every day, all the time, not belonging just to this country. Russia does it, Great Britain does it, Canada does it, Australia does it, Japan probably does it. I could go on and on and on and on and on, and we couldn't find anybody who would admit that they had any satellite photographs of Oklahoma City that morning.
Bill, if it's,
or even that day, as a matter of fact.
If the government, whatever is involved in something, is there a psychological weirdo type mentality that likes to document their own destruction, say is Oklahoma, Flight 800, or the Trade Center? What's your opinion?
I think that whatever they do is documented. I think the documentation is stamped top secret. I think it's compartmentalized and it's locked up in a safe and buried underground somewhere. That's what I think happens. I got to let you go.
Very good. Thank you.
That's it, folks. I want to thank all of you who have been with me all day long. Thank Alan Weiner. Make sure you call or write to Alan Weiner and thank him for doing this. And I got to tell you, it's been a weird day. It's been a terrible day. What happened this morning is absolutely inexcusable and unacceptable, and you all need to be saying prayers for all of the victims and their families. We all need to be doing that. We need to say prayers for the nations. I always say prayers for my listening audience and for the nation every night, and I hope you will all remember me in your prayers also. If you're a Patriot leader or a militia member or an officer of a militia, please take steps to protect yourselves. Don't wait. Do it now. Good night. God bless each and every single one of you. Good night. Annie Poon Allison, I love you. Remember, folks, stay away from the rumor mongers. Don't spread rumors. Don't tell lies. Stop watching television. They'll brainwash you on this. I guarantee it. Get away from it. All they're going to do is repeat everything that you've already seen, and in the process, they're going to brainwash you into why we should accept the loss of our freedoms following this terrible, terrible disaster. For those of you listening in the Round Valley of Arizona, we'll be going off the air with 101.1 FM. If anything further happens, if there are any more attacks of any kind, we will be back on the air, and we will broadcast again to make sure that you get the truth about what's going on and not all the baloney.
So, there we go. That was indeed the final hour of the 10-hour broadcast by William Milton Cooper on the very day of 9/11, right? I see MCG asked the question. Where is it? There it goes there. Did he warn Bill Cooper? Did he warn about Alex Jones in that interview? Yes and no. Kind of, because in that one that we just showed, the final hour, he never, but in the first hour that we showed in the first live that we done, in regards to the on the day broadcast of 9/11 by Bill Cooper, he did say, don't be listening to people like Alex Jones. In fact, you could tell by his voice that he didn't like Alex Jones one bit. He had no time for Alex Jones. I don't think, did they ever do, I think they might have done an interview together. I'm unsure. It's maybe one that we can look up. He did do one with Jordan Maxwell, which is quite interesting. Some people seem to think that Bill Cooper was Maxwell, which is quite funny. Who am I, though, to dismiss anything? Of course I wouldn't. But I'm unsure about that one. Although, hey, who knows in this world that we're in, right? But I think the one I have heard, the Bill Cooper and Jordan Maxwell one, it was quite interesting. From what I remember, at the beginning, Jordan's talking about, the occult this and the occult that. And Bill butts in and he's like, hey, there's no point in telling my audience all the basic sort of stuff. I've schooled them on all of this. They know what you're talking about. And I thought that was quite funny. He was like, hey, mate, save it, right? Crack on with, tell us something that we don't know. And it's quite an interesting one if you've not heard it. And Richard's letting us know that he did, yeah. So we could look that out in the future. He was, correct. Yep, an interesting interview that they done, to say the least. Speaking of Babylon, you would have heard, if you heard it, one of the callers mentioned about a wee town beside or next to New York City called Babylon, which I never knew about until I heard this. Quite interesting that, right? I'd imagine most of the Americans here did know that. So just me, because I stay in the middle of nowhere. In the North Pole, right? Oh, man. So yeah, quite an interesting one, that. And we've only covered, now we've covered 2 hours from that broadcast. And we might get into a few more in the future. But I think it's, there was quite a lot in that as well. The phone calls is one that we've touched on. In fact, I think I've got let me see if I've still got the video from the phone call. I think it might actually be Barbara, the Barbara phone call, when they talk about, or she talks about people maybe being stabbed or have been stabbed. I'm not going to find it now, am I? Oh man, did I take it away? I thought I still had it. Typical. You know when you when you're looking for something, but then you can't find it. I think we've got it here. Of course, in my opinion, the Rockefellers, David in particular, pulled the strings on the takedown of the Twin Towers. And I mean, the guy built them all but by hand. Him and his brother. They got named after, the two towers got named after him and his brother Nelson. It was like a wee art project that they had. And going back to the Bill Cooper interview, a lot of discussion on the how did they hijack it? Was it a knife? Was it this? Was it that? And I kind of thought, and today, instead of that, it's kind of, was there a plane? Wasn't there a plane? And I guess in the end, it doesn't even matter. It is what it is. Everything aside, the bottom line is that there's too many red flags. The narrative cannot be believed. Clearly, there is heavy deception at play with what happened on 9/11. And let's face it, people they would need to be held to account. And I guess we all reap what we sow. They probably won't escape the punishment that they deserve for what they did pull on 9/11. No one gets away, in my opinion. No one, no matter who you think you are. What you put out, you will get back. And hopefully that'll be the case for the entities that made it happen, because there was a lot of things that made it happen that day, whatever it was, planes or not. We today still live through the effects of it, not just the psychological effect it had on even the whole world, but it kind of brought in the terrorism agenda, the whole living in war again. Iraq, Afghanistan, how many people have died because of that? I mean, I found it quite insane, even as a young boy, that the Twin Towers seemingly got taken down by a plane in America, and then in America thought it would be a good idea. I shouldn't laugh, but it seemed insane that they thought it would then be a good idea to invade these seemingly independent nations, Iraq and Afghanistan, because what, they done it? Thought it was Bin Laden. Yeah, but we're going to bomb Iraq anyway. And Britain's going to do it as well, because they need to fight terrorism to protect freedoms. What freedoms? Yeah, good question. I think they're gone now anyway. And in the Bill Cooper interview there, John McCain seemingly said, look, we're going to have to lose some freedoms. We've been living too freely. Who do we think we are? Human? We're going to have to give away some of that freedoms, right? For protection, for safety against the terrorists. Yeah, I wonder how that wee war on terror is going. Probably a bit like the war on drugs, right? Very similar, actually. Completely different, but very similar in structure. There is no war on drugs. There just simply isn't. Like there's not a war on terror. How could there be? I mean, how could you even go to war with terror? That's like going to war with hate, right? Of course, you're not allowed to hate either in Scotland. That's against the law now. Is it not a feeling? Let's not go there. Yeah, I might, you know this, I'll probably be one of the first to get pulled up for a hate crime. Thrown in the jail, right? Look out for it. Let me quickly say hello. In fact, they mentioned the flight attendant. The Passenger, was it a Passenger? Anthony late. Wow. Over an hour and a half late, Anthony. Disappointed. We're going to have to start dishing out the press-ups once again. Right? Right, so let me see. Barbara Olsen. Not Barbara. Streisand. Or is it Streisand? Streisand? I don't know. I'm hopeless, right? Barbara Olsen, even, if you can say it. Me and names, right? Just a random character that happened to be able to phone, I don't know, the control room or her husband while the plane was being hijacked, as calm as you like, not a care in the world, while people might have been stabbed. It was all very confusing, although she was very relaxed indeed. None of it made sense. The more I listened to the phone calls, I shouldn't laugh, but the more I listen to them, I just think, wow. And people still buy it. I mean, most people probably do still buy it in regards to the masses. They probably think that Bin Laden done it. That'll be the people that still take the tests even. They'll be sitting wearing a mask right now. They're the sort of people that think it was Bin Laden. I shouldn't laugh at them. They'll be thinking that we went to the moon as well. Of course, right? Of course we did. How could they lie about going to the moon? It's too big of a lie. It couldn't be. Millions of people would have to be in on it. Man. They're giving themselves too much credit, right? They're giving humanity too much credit there. Yeah. Little do they know. Wow. Where do you begin with these people? But hey, I was there. I was one of them at one point. A few moons ago now. Feels like another lifetime ago. But I guess if we've all came from that point, then other people hopefully will come. And if we don't make a difference, hopefully they might make a difference. Who knows, right? We keep going, we keep fighting. We keep trying our best to at least shed some light on how the agenda works, how it really works, how the hidden hand works. But hey, it works in mysterious ways. But of course, things like operations, if you like the scamdemic, and of course 9/11, like I said before, it showed their hand as clear as day in action, working in lockstep right across the board, especially with the pandemic, the whole narrative, the whole COVID narrative. And then the juice was that must have been the nail in the coffin. That showed you. Yes, someone mentioned actually, and I think they're right, in regards to the Russian juice. It wasn't mRNA. Yeah, it might not have been mRNA, but it doesn't matter. It was still a mass inoculation. It was still a brand new juice that they took out. God only knows what it was. I doubt we would ever know. I mean, they tell, excuse me, they tell us it's mRNA, gene, this, that, and the next thing. Is it even that? It's probably worse than that. I would not put it past them. But I mean, we would be splitting hairs in regards to what the juices are. It doesn't matter. Everyone got juiced. All the masses got juiced right across the board. No nation, no one said, oh, forget it. We're not taking part in the pandemic. We can see it for what it is. No, they all bent down to it in lockstep. China and Russia included. Yeah, the juice might have been different. Makes no difference in my opinion. In fact, Russia and China seem to go even worse with it. But then again, I don't stay there, so I can only go by what I've seen. And hey, how reliable was that, right? What you see online in regards to what comes out of China and Russia. How could you believe it? You can't believe the mainstream media. I see a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff goes about from TikTok and I don't know, Snapchat, all these platforms. And the picture itself's horrendous, usually. And none of it you can believe. None of it's verifiable. In no way, shape, or form. So you can't buy none of it. Again, you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt. And like the late Bill Cooper would have said, believe nothing. Absolutely nothing. Unless you can prove that yourself. That's a different story. But don't believe anything MD says, or you likely might regret it. Put it that way, right? So here's Barbara. Bill mentioned her. Just a random dude or lady that happened to be on flight 77, was it? On September 11th, 2001. And of course, she seemingly passed away in the plane crash. Going by what Bill said, the whole week beforehand, she had been on CNN. Quite interesting that, right? It's all very weird indeed, in my opinion. I shouldn't laugh, but I find it really strange. Right? How did she manage to get a phone call? I don't know if she wrote the book. Did she write it? Yeah, I think she did. Yeah, let's see if we can jump over. The name of the book would be Hell to Pay. Yeah. Most common tag, gender issues. Right. She was big on that then, I take it. I don't want to watch this. I might get copyright. I'll get blocked, right? But it would appear she had been on various platforms, if you like, quite a lot. So I don't think she's a flight attendant, right? She would have been just a passenger. If indeed she was even on said plane. Let's jump to we'll go to Fox for a second. And then we'll jump to the chat, right? And get a catch up. And then we'll take it from there. So a well-known face. Some of you might have known of her. And you might be thinking, yeah, actually, I remember. I remember Barbara, right? How could you forget? Yeah, and of course, her husband is no random dude either. He's some heavy government official, solicitor, and seemingly she was a lawyer and conservative commentator. What the hell is that? A conservative commentator and a lawyer. So quite a smart cookie. Barbara. And her husband Ted, old Teddy, he was Solicitor General. I'm sure he worked for the government on many different apartments, which again, to me, raises a lot of suspicions, right? Of course, anybody, I suppose, could have been on these flights, but it would happen to be her that had made the call as well. And a very suspicious call. Again, all these things kind of add up. and it makes you think, I'm unsure about this. Are we going to get the call? This is her husband. We'll maybe have a look at this.
Ted, I know it's very difficult, but what was Barbara Olson's last words to you? And did you learn what were the last moments for her, what happened on American Airlines Flight 77?
Yeah, it's very difficult, even today, to talk about. I did, my daughter's here tonight, and she lives down next to the World Trade Center, where the World Trade Center was, and I visited for the first time the museum. And for anyone in America to relive even this many years later, the pictures and the thoughts and the horror of 9/11, what happened in New York and what happened in Pennsylvania, what happened in Washington and the Pentagon, is very, very difficult. The magnitude of it seems to have dissipated a little bit because time does that for us. But when you think about it and look at the awful tangled wreckage and those destroyed fire trucks that those men were wearing, and look at the stairs that people were getting out, and all of those things is very, very difficult, but it's something that we need to do again and again to remind ourselves to make sure that we never forget. Barbara had changed her flight because that September 11, unfortunately, was my birthday, and so she changed her flight to be there the night before. And so she got on this flight from Dulles Airport to Los Angeles. She was going to be on the Bill Maher show that night. And when the news came in, I was in the Justice Department, the Solicitor General's office. My secretary rushed in and we turned on the television set, and we saw the film that was coming in over the networks of the first plane that crashed into the World Trade Center, and then the second, and I can't remember the exact sequence, but somewhere around 9:15 or something like that, my secretary rushed in and said Barbara's on the phone. I don't know how Barbara managed to make her cell phone work, or make the cell phones. In those days you could make phone calls, but they were up in the air. And I had worried as soon as I saw this tragedy unfolding that maybe Barbara's flight was one of the ones that had been flown into the World Trade Center. And so when my secretary said she was on the phone, I thought, oh my God, Barbara's okay. That isn't what's happening. And then she got on the phone and she told me that their plane had been hijacked and that all the passengers had been moved to the back of the airplane. And she asked me, what should I do, or what can I do? Barbara's a fighter, and she was not going to go easily. And I asked her a little bit about what she sensed of where that airplane was and where it was going. And the phone was cut off. And then a short while later, she somehow managed to get through again, calling collect to the Justice Department of the United States and get through to my office. That's the kind of resourceful person she was. And we had another conversation. I had to tell her what I already knew, which is the two airplanes had been crashed into the World Trade Center. So I had to tell her what she obviously was able to process, what was in the cards for her. So it was very difficult. The conversations were very short. I wrote a piece about this afterwards, about how Barbara was a quintessential American, a blonde Catholic girl that was raised in Texas, that became a professional ballerina for a while, and then paid her way through a Jewish law school here in New York, and Cardozo, predominantly Jewish, and a sort of a right-wing Republican at a left-wing school and so forth. And she had become a best-selling author and a commentator and that sort of thing. She was a quintessential American, taking advantage of the opportunities. When I said right-wing, I don't really mean that, but she thought dogmatic or opinionated. She thought opinionated was a good thing, to have opinions and that sort of thing. So to see her picture there, as I did this morning, along with the pictures of all the other Americans, just brings it back home again of what this nation had suffered. And we're reading the papers every single day now, and we know that the same kind of thinking that resulted in what happened on September 11 is still out there. We're still very much at risk.
So, wow, I thought that was wow, quite interesting, that, right? I mean,
ladies and gentlemen,
oh,
the
what have I done?
President of the United States.
It came on again. Autoplay. We don't want to hear Obama, right? Barack Obama. Man, I'm so childish. We don't want to hear Barack Obama. But I think that's the first time I've heard Ted Olson. Quite interesting, that, right? What did we make of that guy? Excuse me, I was down in my coffee. What did we make of Ted there? Let's go back. Why did it autoplay? Bugger. I went too far back. So that was in 2014. I found that quite interesting. Anyone else? In fact, let's just get rid of that for the time being. Yeah. I thought that was quite strange. Interesting. He mentioned there, he said that they had short conversations. Now, I don't know. Could you imagine your wife being in a plane that you know is hijacked and you know is likely going to be flown or blown up? With that in mind, is your conversations going to be short, or are you likely going to stay on the phone probably until the bitter end? You would be on the I think I would be on the phone, right? You would be on the phone. You would stay on the phone the whole way through if you could, as long as you could. I don't think conversations would be short. I think you would be telling, especially your husband of quite a few years at least, by the looks of it, that how much you loved him. All the good times. But it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't even anything like that. It was more like a script that she had been given. But I honestly don't think I would ever hang up the phone or have a short conversation. If I was on a flight or vice versa with a loved one, I don't think you would, right? You would stay on the phone. And he said there, he mentioned about how traumatizing it was and how even being reminded of it is traumatizing. And he said before that his daughter stays next to Ground Zero. So it's that traumatizing. She stays next to it and sees it every day. Does that make sense? And the thought of it is that traumatizing as well. And it's like a hard thought to digest, even years after. But unfortunately and unbelievably for him, Ted Olson, when is his birthday? What did he say? 9/11 is his birthday. Oh man, come on. I mean, really? 9/11 is his birthday. His daughter stays right next to it, and he's beating on about how bad it is to remember. 9/11, and seemingly, not Brenda, Barbara changed her flight. And he talked about how when he watched the TV, he seen the film. Sorry, what? Yeah, he seen the film. I don't know if that would be the... He's seen the film. Would you not say, I seen the news? I seen it on the news that there was a... It was a terrorist attack. But instead of that, he used the words, oh, I seen the film on TV, so I knew what was going to happen, and the conversations were short. Yeah, because that would clearly be the case. In my opinion, it wouldn't be. And I just find it really hard to believe that his daughter stays right next to Ground Zero, and his birthday's on 9/11. I mean, you could not make that up. Honestly, I think that's comical, right? Who are these people? What are they? Are they just plain actors? I mean, the plane situation is quite an interesting one. Personally, I don't think there was any plane. For a wee while, well, for a few years maybe, I thought possibly a missile of sorts, some sort of drone maybe. But I'm unsure, even if they had that. A lot of the videos that they produced, the films, if you like, of the plane, they were all questionable as well. And again, with them, it wasn't some random average Joe like it should have been. One of the guys in particular, with one of the main sort of clips of a plane flying into it, which is clearly CGI. I mean, even I can see that it's not a... In fact, even when you watch it, right, your eyes and your gut instinct tells you that it's not right in terms of the size of it. Nothing adds up, right? But even then, you've got the issue with the wing and the building, which clearly points to some sort of CGI. And of course, you've got the building, the nose. Oh man, have we seen that one with the nose of the plane sort of comes out the other end? I guess maybe there could have been an explosion there, but I don't know. I find that one a bit strange. I think it was clearly an explosion. Even looking at the impact of what they claimed was a plane, it kind of looked more like a outward explosion rather than a inward explosion. But again, I'm no expert on that. I'm certainly not an expert on anything. But I do know that people who are experts on demolition, they've certainly got questions to ask in regards to how the buildings came down and the way that they came down. But of course, you're not allowed to ask any questions, right? So interesting there with Barbara and her seemingly husband, Ted, who was clearly very relaxed there as well, a bit like Barbara herself on the flight. Let me see. What I want to do is try and get the phone call from Barbara. If I remember rightly, I got it before from National Geographic, of all people, right? The go-to. When I think of National Geographic, I think of the Smithsonian Museum. I think they're a bit like that. The go-to for anything, all the info, they want to take it for themselves. All the knowledge, and then put out a load of fucking nonsense, basically. They're great at doing that. National Geographic, BBC. You name it when it comes to the mainstream media. Who can you trust there, right? I must admit, because I'm a big fan of anything wildlife, I do watch. There's a BBC, there's a BBC program. I certainly don't pay to watch it, but I don't think many people do, to be honest, and they shouldn't. In my opinion, I watch. There's a series called Spring Watch, and I've always been a big fan of that ever since it started, and it's been on for years. And I like watching it. It's great. If you like wildlife, you have to watch it. So, there is good sides to, if you like, entertainment. But unfortunately, when it's in the wrong hands, it can be used in a really fucking bad way. And we've been seeing that over the years with blatant brainwashing, blatant conditioning over and over. Look at the the COVID narrative. Look at the constant bombardment, slogans, adverts, buses on the bus stops, signs everywhere, the radio. When I went into one of the supermarkets over the Tannoy at the very beginning, that was one of them moments where I kind of thought, what? Am I in China? Of course, there's no real difference. It's agenda in a different, sorry, it's the agenda in a different package. But it's the same hidden hand that's pulling the strings, in my opinion. And there I was pushing the trolley, minding my own business. Then over the Tannoy, the Scottish government were telling me to wash my hands, keep my distance, sanitize, wear a mask, go and get your juice, run along now, we'll be watching. Oh man, we're not far away from that anyway, are we? In this AI world that we're heading into now. Wow. I was wanting to go until 11, but we seem to have went a good bit longer. Shock horror, right? Who'd have thought it? Is there anything else that I've got? Let me quickly see, and then I'll jump in the chat and we'll say hello and maybe good night. I say that now, and then we go until about 1 o'clock in the morning. I've had people say before, "Oh, I left. I thought you'd finished." Then I checked the next day, and it went on for about an hour. I had said cheerio and then kept going for about an hour. So it can happen, right? It happens that that's life, but not as we know it. That is for sure. Do we remember? Can we not see the slide? Oh, you're not going to be able to see it. I thought that would come up. Wait a minute. I'm on the wrong one. This guy. Oh man, the NASA scientist. Oh man, every time I see this guy, anytime I'm wanting to laugh now, I just dig out this video of this guy's emotional plea. Have I got it actually? I was meant to find the 9/11 video. I think we'll go back to that in a sec. Let me see if I can find it. Of course, this is the NASA Extinction Rebellion scientist expert who made an emotional plea to the world. Oh man, it cracked me up. Oh, honestly, it's one of these videos you kind of want to frame it. If you're ever needing a laugh, I bet I've not got it now. Bugger, let me see. I thought I kept it. Sugar. Don't think I have. Or have I? Nope. Oh wait, actually, I think I have. So yeah, we'll play it. We'll play it for the crack, right? It's only a short video. Here it glows.
In the wake of a shocking new climate report that was released this week, warnings of dire consequences for humanity in it, more than 1,000 scientists protested around the world today, including a top climate scientist at NASA.
Yeah, Peter Kalamas was arrested this week for civil disobedience after chaining himself to a Chase Bank entrance in Los Angeles. Kalamas and scientists around the world are in a desperate bid to save the planet and convince leaders to drastically cut carbon emissions. The latest UN report warns that the civilized world is nowhere near on track to meet the CO2 emission goals.
We're going to lose everything, and we're not joking. We're not lying. We're not exaggerating. This is so bad, everyone, that we're willing to take this risk.
NASA's official stance on climate change is that carbon...
We're not lying. We're not joking. We're not exaggerating. Why would he say that? Yeah, why would he say that? Who thought they were exaggerating? Yeah. We're not messing around. This is so bad, everyone. So what are we going to have to do then, Mr. NASA, Extinction Rebellion? We are not worthy scientists of the planet Earth. We are nature just defending itself. I thought it said destroying itself. Maybe it should say that. I guess we are not worthy, right? Of course, the plan is going to be the numerous solutions that they have in regards to geoengineering, which is aerosol injection, storing carbon under the ground somehow. What's the other one? I think converting it somehow. There's another idea that they had in regards to giant mirrors. What? Yeah. Giant mirrors that can reflect the sun back to the sun. And that'll save the Earth, seemingly. That's another idea that they've got. They're going to put them in what they called space. Sure. I mean, the mirror one I could see them doing. It sounds horrendous. It really does. Honestly. Every idea, every solution that they've got is absolutely insane. Honest to God. But they're going with it. They're in motion, testing it out here and there. And it's now getting to a stage where they're rolling out clowns like this guy with his emotional plea that we're running out of time. So it's going to come to a point where, I don't know, maybe NASA. All hail NASA. The main dude at NASA, whoever the clown is, some super chief, I guess. Masonic master, no doubt. He'll probably come out on TV at some point in the future and say, look, we need to act now. A bit like when George Bush came out and announced the Iraq War. We now have troops in motion as I speak. Murdering Iraqis. He didn't say that, but of course I can't do a Bush impression. But a bit like that. I think it'll probably be NASA along with the US government. And they're going to possibly even the British government. They might be involved. It wouldn't surprise me if it was the RAF military. They'll come out and they'll say, look, we're now at a point where we need to act. And they're going to put plans in motion. And I would imagine the first one that they're going to go with will be the aerosol injection. And honestly, the effects from that are going to be horrendous if they do go ahead with it. Honestly, at least from what I can see. And I mean, let's not beat about the bush. We're already living in it. And they were at it big time today. Some pretty strange ones as well. And in regards to the contrails. He's a contrail nut. Bill Cooper, if I phoned up Bill Cooper, he'd probably have a go at me. Oh man, could you imagine, right? He would be giving me a row about contrails. Oh man, that would have been interesting, right? I mean, it's a pity Bill's not about today to tell us what he maybe thought about it, right? Considering what's going on. Is there any other slides that I've got? So yeah, I done a video on a potential incoming pandemic. I mentioned it the other day. I don't think it is going to be this time, but I think the wheels are in motion. And in this video, we touched about the exercise that they had, a bit like Event 201, in regards to the monkeypox, right? Or whatever it is they're going to call it. And basically it said in that because there wasn't basically all but it said, because there wasn't a one world government, there was a lot of failures and the virus. Dun, dun, dun. So what's the solution then? We need a worldwide alert system run by, well, I guess a worldwide one world organization shadow government, like it ain't already there. But they ain't even hiding it now. I mean, wow. Talk about in the open. It's all there in the open, black and white. There will be no, if any, anyway, but there will indeed be none whatsoever in regards to sovereignty for anybody, let alone a nation, as an individual. These people, in my opinion, are basically going to destroy the world that we once knew and loved. Sounds great, right? He's still full of good news. Yeah, I know. That's what they want to do. That's why they talk about a great reset. No, it's a great robbery. Where they take, and oh yeah, take. And we get less and less and less. And what do they want us fucking eating? Bugs. Drinking milk that's made in a bloody laboratory. Honestly, I mean, it's hard. Well, it's not really hard. I shouldn't laugh, but it's not really hard to see where the future lies. All you've got to do is watch Soylent Green. Man, he laughs sarcastically, right? Watch Soylent Green. And of course, movies like Early Warning, which I've covered a few times in the past, that told us clear as day, the whole agenda laid out. They even talked about how they would manipulate shortages, and it worked a treat. They talked about a tattoo that everyone would have, where they could pay. In fact, the tattoo situation, or the barcode situation, if you like, that is one that's in quite a few movies. So I would imagine that's definitely in the pipeline, without a doubt. And with the society becoming pandemic, riddled with pandemics, that'll be the case. They'll bring out this national identity that can't be lost or manipulated, or at least that's what they'll claim. Either a tattoo or a chip. possibly both. And of course, that is in time to come. That likely will be what you'll use to get food, to get stuff that you need. Hence why it is now more important than ever to try and become as self-sufficient as you can, unless you want to bow down to the tyranny and accept what some people will call and are already calling the mark of the beast. And I can see why. And of course, in early warning, the guy gets the tattoo as an example, and the number that he gets is 666. Shock horror, right? Yeah. Interesting looking character, Barbara. The author of Hell to Pay. A solicitor, a lawyer, husband was all the officials in the book. Made the phone call on 9/11. Calm as you like. What a hero, right? I wonder. I really do wonder. Will we ever know? What really happened to these people? What really happened to the planes if the planes never flew into the building? Answers on a postcard, right? Where did they go? I think the one in that seemingly flew into the ground, that was never a plane crash, right? Surely. I mean, again, I'm not an expert, but surely not. The Pentagon one, come on. What, plane done that? And all the lampposts and stuff like that before it, in front of the building, that the part of it that blew up. They were all still standing, of course. They were made out of the same material that the terrorists' passports were made out of. Indestructible, right? Sure. So yeah, let me jump back to the chat. Quite a lot of comments. Lots and lots. So I'm very grateful for everyone's input, everyone's time this Friday evening, heading towards Saturday morning now. Hopefully everyone's got a few plans for the weekend, right? Remember, you've got to get out there, you've got to have fun. You've got to try your best at least to, live your life as much as you can. It's too short. From what I've learned, it's way too short. And I've heard people say in the past, live every day like it's your last. And I mean, I don't think anyone ever really lives like that, to be honest. I mean, you don't think like that every day. This is my last day. Of course, maybe if you was ill, that would be a different story. So a lot of things we kind of just go along and get used to routine, and maybe sometimes forget about even the simplest things in life and how we should maybe appreciate them a wee bit more. Of course, speaking personally, but maybe I'm not alone. And because we can lose our way. We can lose our way a lot of the time, caught up in the whirlwind of society, which of course is a society driven by consumption and greed and all kinds of nastiness. And it can get you down from time to time. It can beat you up here and there. But we crack on. We really do. I always advise people should stay away from mass media consumption. If you are consuming media, don't overdo it. Honestly, take my advice. Don't overdo it. Take time to relax. Your body will tell you when you're overdoing it. You'll know. Your body will let you know. So take a step back from time to time and enjoy the better things in life, if there is any. If you find any, then you can send them my way, right? Of course, that's a joke. Thank you very much, Justine. It is indeed on Sunday. Father's Day, at least in the UK. So a massive happy Father's Day to all the hardcore fathers out there, right? Doing their bit for their family. It can be tough. It really can. And we never look for anything in return. The love, not even anything like that in return. The time I spend with my kids and my family, that's enough to keep me going, to see me through the day, without a doubt, even though my son can be the devil in disguise at times, but you wouldn't change it, right? And of course, in terms of my own father, it gives me a chance to reflect on stuff that he taught me, times that I had with him, many good times, and it gives me a chance to see how good my memory is still. See if I can remember anything, right? But yeah, I like to reflect. It can be tough. I try not to get sad. I try to focus on the positive side of it. The fact that I've got my own family now, my own kids to look after. I'm very grateful for that, and of course, I'm very grateful for everything that my dad taught me, everything that he done for me in terms of me growing up. He was absolute hero in my opinion. So it is sad that he's gone, but again, I look at the positives from that. There's a lot of people, they never even had a father. There's people who they had a father, but they would like to wish, or they wish even that they never, because they weren't a great father, a terrible father. And I know a lot of people, as I have an itchy leg. I know a lot of people, unfortunately, who have that case. So on Father's Day, they tend to not like to think about their own father, and I can understand that. So again, that's why I'm very grateful for the dad that I did have. You can't choose them, fortunately or unfortunately. You get what you're given. You get what you're given in terms of your family. There's no choice there, right? If only, some people would say. But you can still find good people in the world that can help you, that can love you, that can be there for you, without a doubt. And they can be sometimes better than family, to be honest. But yeah, I like to be grateful for the good, for the positive, right? When I can. We all have trials and tribulations, but we crack on, right? We've got to stay strong. Like I like to say, we've made it this far. Fucking hell. We'll make it through a lot more, but we're certainly made of strong stuff. And good to see MCG, who maybe had not so good parents. I know it can happen to quite a lot of people. It's never fine. It can have a big effect on people's lives. I mean, I feel that my dad had a good effect. I guess if people have bad parents, that they might feel it's a bad effect that can affect them their whole life. I think Richie Allen has discussed in the past the fact that his father was not a great father. I think quite abusive. I'm unsure of the ins and outs, but certainly not a good father, put it that way. And I think he feels that it maybe had a big impact on his life, even still today. So, I mean, I try my best with my kids. I really do. All the bad examples of fathers, I guess I try and learn from that as well, and take the good from what my dad taught me, and try my best. It's catch-22 when it comes to raising children, because they're going to be who they're going to be. They really are. And I've had to try and explain that to people in the past, because they worry about, oh, they can't do this or they can't do that, and someone else done this for their kids and they done that. Yeah, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that their kids are going to not grow up to be bad or going to grow up to be the president. It's not the way it works. I mean, the greatest of people can come from the worst of upbringings, and the worst of people could come from the best of upbringing. There really is no blueprint for it. You've got to kind of find the right balance in bringing them up. But I think today it's important to teach them to be as hands-on as possible in terms of being able to fix, being able to make, whether it be material-wise with wood or metal. But again, with cooking, I think there's a lot of skills, basic skills, that have been lost and are gone. And I think it's a good idea to try and reinstall these skills into kids, because they don't learn them at school anymore by the fucking looks of it. Speaking of the school, my son told me that he had money one of the days. I think I had gave him money that he still had in his pocket, and his teacher told him that money's dirty. So you shouldn't have money because it's dirty. And that's a teacher that said that at the school. I thought, yeah, 2022, right? Shock horror. But there you go. I mean, money, like it's a worry. Oh, it's dirty. You'll get the, whatever it is, variant. The money variant. Oh, man. I mean, imagine, honestly. Let's not get into that. I'll definitely get a strike. I wonder how many strikes I'm going to pick up for this. Me. We better not tempt fate, right? Good to see Frank as well in the hood. Camping. Yeah. I actually might be going camping next month, so I'll let you know. I went camping. Was it last year? Or was it the year before? I think it might have been the year before. I'm going somewhere else. But we bought all the gear about 2 years ago. Or a year ago even. The big tent. All the gear. No idea. That sort of situation, right? So we're going somewhere on the coast. And I'm looking forward to it, actually. It's going to be great. And it's good to get away from time to time, recharge, reflect, and come back stronger, refreshed. Even if it's local, anywhere local, you don't have to go and fly halfway around the world to relax, to enjoy yourself. In fact, the further away from home, the more unrelaxed I would be. So the closer to home, the more relaxed I'm likely to be. So it's probably better that I stay local. To be honest, round about here, pretty much everything is on my doorstep. The beautiful scenery. And because we're in summer, seemingly, at the moment, you've got the sun from time to time. Somewhere under the thick white cloud. Is the sun there? I'm not sure. Seemingly it is, right? But yeah, we will get a few good days yet, I'd imagine. And the coast up here, it's magnificent. It really is. If you look at it, if you go on to Google Maps, and if you look up the Murrayshire coast in the northeast of Scotland, you'll see what I mean. It's magnificent. People pay big money to come and see it. And a lot of people who stay here have never even went to see it. Which is a bit absurd, really, in the world that we're in today. You'd think people would venture their own territory, if you like, before they went anywhere else, right? Get your own garden ventured before you head out. But a lot of people, they don't like the UK. They want to holiday elsewhere. And yeah, whatever floats your boat. But like we mentioned in the shortages video, the aviation industry, it's on its way out. And that'll be another industry that will bring in the biometric data situation or structure where you can't get in. You won't be able to use, or you won't be able to get in unless you have the data required, the biometric data, your latest juice, and maybe even if you've been a good citizen, they might say, well, look at this post that you put on Facebook. We can't let you in. Excuse me. My coffee's coming back up again. Anyway, I'm yapping on now, to be honest. Let me quickly say hello before we wrap it up. We went 2.5 hours, right? I was meant to go till 11, almost an extra hour. Unreal. I think I'm going to be back Monday, maybe Sunday. It would be late Sunday if it is. Probably after Scott's Armour, his stream. If it is Sunday, I'll see how I feel. But failing that, it's going to be Monday. I'm unsure as to what, but I have got a few things that I'm working on currently. While in the background trying to sort of set the foundations on Odyssey and elsewhere for the basically inevitable deletion once again, right? I think Dominic referring to the towers? Is Dominic been playing on skipping on catch up? He was 26. Now, I take it that's in regards to when the towers came down, right? What an effect that had on people. I seen it even on my own father. I seen it had a big effect. I think my father was. I mean, my dad wasn't he wasn't conspiratorial or anything of that sense. Quite a law-abiding, fully fledged sheep, if you like. Which, yeah, I don't know if I've coined that phrase, but who knows, right? He was he would have went with anything the government said, basically. But to be honest, as a young lad then, I would have probably took it. Although I wasn't good at taking too kindly to being told anything, to be honest. But I think my dad, he kind of thought, yeah, we need to get these guys. We're going to have to get them, the terrorists. Let's get them! And I think that was the sort of feeling for a lot of people, adults especially at the time, where they thought, someone needs to pay. Because it was atrocious at least what they were showing on the TV. When you think about the people falling out the window, jumping out the window, the buildings coming down, the people that were there that had to run, the screaming, the shouting, that whole day, the absolute trauma and terror that they played constantly. I think every channel in the world was covering it. And radio. So, I mean, it would have been impossible to escape it that day. I don't think there would have been anyone who never knew about that on that day. And of course, that's not by accident either. They wanted you to know, they wanted you to feel the effect of the trauma. All part of the mass conditioning, the mass programming. And then people like my dad saying, look, people need to pay. Let's bomb Iraq. Yeah, because that makes total sense, right? Let's bomb Afghanistan. Yeah. What about Iran? Nah. It's funny because I always had the feeling, or get the feeling, that if America was to bomb anybody, it would have been Iran. They seem to have hate Iran. And Iran certainly seemed to not like America. But that never seems to be the case. And I always kind of also thought that if anywhere in the Middle East was going to bomb anywhere, they would bomb. Is anyone thinking where I'm thinking? It's basically a Western country in the East, right? If you like. But the country I'm thinking of is it real? I mean, Israel, right? I mean, in my opinion, that's where any Middle Eastern country would attack. It would maybe be the easiest way to maybe try and get at the West, if you like. I mean, America basically funds Israel. Lock, stock and barrel. The UK as well. And what does Israel do? Flatten Palestine. Of course, that's a whole other story. But I mean, it seems to be quite atrocious what happens over there in Israel and Palestine. I mean, we think we've got it bad here. Fucking it. Could you imagine staying there? I mean, talk about living in constant war. Nah, I don't think they would bomb China. Fuck, they would flatten you. They would flatten you in an instant. That's the kind of thought I get from that. But yeah, maybe it would maybe be closer, would it? I think. But I always kind of thought Israel would be a target, but it never seems to be, even though they seem to flatten Palestine like there's no tomorrow. I mean, how many wars are going on in the world right now that probably should not even be going on? There's probably wars going on that we don't even know about. All we know about is what they tell us in the media, and we can't even fucking believe that anyway. The best question is 3 times building, only 2 planes. Yeah, but office fires. There was paper in the bin in the building 7 office, floor 10. So that would have melted the steel beams, right? Hence why it came down in its own footprint. Fruitprint, I nearly said. I've coined a new phrase now, fruitprint. So it came down in its own footprint, similar to, unbelievably, the 2 twin towers, Nelson and David. Yeah, because they got named after Nelson and David Rockefeller, who built them. And of course, anyone who watched, I think the first Rockefeller horror show that I done, David Rockefeller stood at his office window on the very day of 9/11 and watched the whole thing unfold right before his very eyes. In no panic whatsoever. He just stood there watching the 2 buildings that he all but hand built get taken down. And when he mentioned this in his interview, he wasn't even bothered. He almost, at least the sense I got, is that he said it with a sense of pride. And that interview is the interview that pretty much, for me, pinned the takedown of 9/11 on David Rockefeller and Nelson Rockefeller, the 2 guys who basically built it. And I believe they built it for the purpose of taking it down. Like the Towers of Babylon, if you like. And then look at what's unfolded since the Twin Towers came down. What sort of world are we in now, right? And if you don't believe me about David Rockefeller, look it up. Look the interview up. You'll find it clear as day. And then look at how David speaks about art, or what he calls art, and how he talks about the emotion that should be attached to art. How people should feel their art. And in my opinion, that's what David basically seen it as. Of course, it was a lot more than that. It triggered so much. But this is how the hidden hand works. It kills way more. Way more birds than two, even with one stone. A lot more. And history tells us that, clear as day. Solomon's temple isn't Israel. Do you mean isn't real? I think I've heard that before being mentioned. I'm unsure about that one, to be honest. Although I've never been to Solomon's temple. Is it still there? I think it got destroyed, did it not? Was it not seemingly destroyed by the Roman Empire? Of course, in my opinion, at least, that was another great reset, where the Phoenicians got swept aside, and then the Romans got rolled out, and the great empire of Rome, behold. And then, of course, that had its day as well. And it was another new empire. Are we now going through, or living through, the same? Which is disguised as a great reset. I mean, that doesn't even hide it, really. What do people think they mean by a great reset? They think they're going to make the world better? What, the people who single-handedly have destroyed it? Of course, the majority of them people think that politicians are going to make things better. If we vote in this guy, yeah, he'll make it better, right? He'll sort it. If we get Trump back, yeah, get Trump back. Oh, man, could you imagine? Eh? Oh, my God. People will be saying that as well. One of the biggest surprises for me in regards to Donald Trump and the truth movement, when the Trump situation came about, the presidency, was the guy Jim Fetzer. I mentioned it before. He sort of fell for it, and he was like, yeah, Trump's the man, right? He's going to sort it out. He knows about the chemtrails. He knows about the Hollywood, the pedophilia. Yeah, I bet he fucking does. I bet he does know about it. All right. But here we are today in 2022. Everything said and done. What did he actually do? Nothing. Not a thing. He done nothing. All he done was continue the work of the hidden hand. Clear as day. While making his wee hand sign. His wee triangular Illuminati hand gesture. Nothing to see there, right? Sure. But even poor Jim fell for it. But to Jim's credit, he did come out and say, well, yeah, probably got that one wrong, to be honest. Which is, I mean, you've got to respect the guy for that. But I still kind of think, well, how the hell did you fall for it in the first place? A failed businessman who got, what's the word? Who was bankrupt, and he got bailed out by the Rockefellers. So a Rockefeller lapdog, who is an actor, well, of sorts anyway, a failed businessman, and then what, a politician, Not only a politician, but a president? Like that? And he claims to be the greatest president of all? Wow. And of course, now they've got Joe Biden. I mean, surely the Americans who do vote now, surely now they're thinking, fucking hell, anyone's going to be better than Joe. And then they fall into the same trap again. Well, if we vote in this guy, he'll be better than Joe Biden. I mean, wow, where do you start with Joe Biden, right? Oh, man. Let's not go there. I honestly think, I mean, you see it in a lot of different, I think the Inside Job on Netflix and different movies in the past, a robotic president. Honestly, I could see America having that in the future. Some robot is going to win the election. It's going to be the president. Honestly, I can see it. I can see it now. It's not going to be discriminative against anyone. Of course, it'll be controlled by the hidden hand, right? Some AI computer. All hail AI. Yeah, good to see Jacqueline as well. Back again. And thank you for sticking around. And Justine as well. A pleasure to have you back again. It's always great to see regular faces. Biden was brought in to make people beg for Trump back. Yeah, I can see that working. Oh man, I mean, how bad is Biden, right? I mean, hey, it's rich for me to come on and say that anyone can't speak properly. But Biden, oh my God, honestly, what is up with that guy? He can't be well, right? There's got to be some sort of cognitive issue. And yeah, that's coming from me. I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but I find it really, really insane that this guy's even the president. But of course, we know the true reality. In an ideal world, it would never be the case. He would never be the president. He just simply wouldn't. I mean, that cannot be the best that America has to offer in terms of trying to sort out issues locally with people. He's not the guy, right? None of them have been the guy. They've all had their part to play. When you look at Obama, he had many parts to play. He came across as a cool dude with charisma. He would just say a joke and that would be it. And talk about bombing a country, but it wouldn't matter because he had charisma, right? As gay as they come as well, by the way. Obama. I mean, anyone can see that, surely. And of course, Trump, he would have had roles to play. And he certainly did. Even going back to Clinton, Bush. I mean, Bush, wow. Oh my God. I mean, in my lifetime, all the presidents have been absolutely terrible. What were they like before that? Were they any good then? I doubt it very much. At what point do we say, hey, this is not working? It needs to be stopped. It needs to be changed. What, vote someone? No, not vote someone else in. That whole system needs to be scrapped, cremated. It's finished. It's all manipulated. The voting, I mean, even in the UK, in my opinion, the voting's rigged. But when I look into the American voting, wow, a lot of that's, I think, well, most of it is computer. You vote by computer, I'm pretty sure. But in the UK, I don't think you can do it online yet or by computer, but you can do it by postal vote, which is a con big time. Or you can go into the voting booth and you can cast your vote, right? Do your thing for society. A big X on the person that you want to be the next person that's going to deceive you for the next 4 years. Hip, hip, hooray, right? And I always find it comical because every time there's an election or some sort of voting election, whatever it may be, a general election, a referendum, whatever, you see all these politicians coming out saying all these different things and ideas, and we're going to do this, and this will be great, and we're going to fix this, and look at this issue here, we're going to fix that. If you vote for me, we're going to change it, make it better. Then what happens? The day after the vote, you never fucking hear them again. You don't see them again. We still got potholes. Yeah, they never fixed them. The guy lied. Yeah, shock horror. But now he's in office with his feet under the table, doing his bit for the hidden hand. And as long as they do their bit, they'll probably remain in office. If they go rogue, they'll get taken out. If they don't play ball, they'll get thrown under the bus if they're lucky. If not, they'll just get whacked, I'd imagine. Possibly what they done to JFK. He might have went rogue. He might have thought he could fight against the hidden hand. He was clearly part of it. So I'm unsure. But I don't think there's any doubt that they took him out. But I mean, again, in the world that we live in, and what can we really prove, right, in this insane world that we're in? I like getting into which sounds a bit weird, but the JFK situation, I like getting into that. There's so much to get into. I want to cover the documentary, Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. Has anyone watched it? It's quite a long one. I think it's about 3 hours long, which this live stream has now just about went. But it's quite a good one. It covers a lot of stuff, and it goes deep into the JFK, into the war as well. World War I, World War II. Quite an interesting one. A lot of information in it. I think it's still on YouTube, possibly. If not, maybe on Odyssey. Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. I'm forgetting the guy who made its name. It's an Irish guy who I'm unsure of, to be honest. But again, take everyone and everything with a pinch of salt. Don't go marrying straight away. Right? Take your time with any information or new content, whatever it may be. Absorb it, take it in. Don't make any knee-jerk reactions. Okay, at least that's my advice. Dominic is my person of the week, right? 47 never voted. Don't be saying that. You're going to be getting a knock on the door. In time to come, of course, you won't get away with that. You'll have to vote. You'll have to do your part as a global citizen. Yeah. You've got to vote. Otherwise, you don't get your ration. That's the way it's going. You've got to. You're going to have to eventually. Of course, I won't. They can throw me in prison if they want. Oh, I'll go to fucking prison. So be it. Never again will I be in a voting booth. Unless I'm kicking it down. Gonna get a knock on the door now. What did you say about the voting booth? That was against an act of 1920. Prison. Sentenced to death. Oh, man. You could imagine it, right? So, yeah, it's Duck. It's a Duck is referring to the documentary Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. So it is on YouTube still. Look it up because I'm likely going to do a video on it. Maybe next week. right? So if you've not seen it, there's so much information in it. I watched it, I think about, oh man, I think maybe in 2015, 2016, possibly even before, but there was so much. I was shocked at how much information it actually gave out. So if you've not seen it, check it out. Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. It's quite a long documentary, but there is a lot. These sort of videos, it can't be a 2-minute video. It just can't. there's too much to put in. So let me quickly say, cheerio. Well, to be honest, Anthony, I think that boat's already sailed. I'm just waiting for the door to be kicked in and my rights to be read. Of course, they'll have to catch me first, right? I'll be away out the back, off ski, as we like to say. Away, gone, like the wind. Well, the wind will take me anyway. Unreal wind today. Honestly, I bet they'll be blaming the climate change. But it's not unusual to get a windy day, right? So, good to see Anthony back again and Justine. Always a pleasure. Where is she? There she goes. And it's a duck as well. A pleasure to see you. And Resisting the Lies back again. Where is he? Where did he go? Oh man, it's late, right? We're now into Saturday. So there you go. Good morning. Good Saturday morning to each and all. And good to see everyone back again. Naylor soon in the hood. Love the name. Good to see you back again. Flowers in the springtime. Spoil the ballot. Yeah, well, I couldn't even bring myself to do that, to be honest. That's still taking part. The SNP, if you went into the ballot booth in Scotland and spat on it, the SNP would take that as a vote for them. Oh man, I shit you not. Yeah, that's a vote for us. Oh man, honestly, I could see that. So if you went in and wrote something derogatory, if you like, the SNP would take that as a vote for them. Yeah, that's for us, definitely. So I couldn't even bring myself to even spoil it. It did cross my mind in the past. I thought I'd write a big FU or bloody stick it up Bill Gates's whatever. But I can't even bring myself to do that. Honestly, I want to take no part in any of it. Likely I'll be the guy that you'll see in years down the line, standing outside one of these election centres, telling people to stay away. I'll definitely get arrested then. I wonder, actually, that would be an interesting situation, that. Yeah, I reckon you probably would get arrested. Someone would phone the police. There's some weird guy standing outside the what do they call these? It's always community centres or schools or churches that they use. There's a guy standing outside telling people not to arrest him. Get him arrested. Nicola Sturgeon would be running down. Richard Lockhead. And Angus Robertson. I'd be getting arrested by them, right? Yeah, that I would like to see, to be honest. But yeah, I think it would be quite interesting because surely it would be you would be well within your right to tell people, look, consider maybe staying away from it. But I don't know. I would then likely get arrested for being a terrorist. That would be the headline the next day. Terrorist warns people not to vote. A big photo of me over Osama bin Laden's face. Oh man, I can see it now, right? Anyway, good to see everyone back again. Did I miss anyone there? I probably did. Carmel, there we go. I think late to the party tonight, Carmel. I'm gonna have to be again issuing out the press ups, I'm afraid, right? Or getting arrested by Alan Smith. Could you imagine that? That's a guy I would actually. Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate. I'd probably do time. If I bumped into one of these political entities. They've done nothing but lie constantly. They're masters at lying. I don't know how they do it. Of course, when you're that type of person, evil, and you lie constantly, what do you think is going to happen to your body? Honestly, what do you think is going to happen if you're an evil person committing atrocities, lying day in, day out? What do you think eventually is going to happen to your body, your appearance? I think it's going to show, it's going to tell. You're going to basically ooze the evil that you commit. And it can't be hidden. And I think a lot of these politicians, and one person in particular, when you look at them in terms of their appearance, even the feeling you get just looking at them, you can see it, you can feel it, you can feel the hate, you can feel the evilness. It oozes out of them. And the one person in particular, Tony Blair, I mean, that guy looks like Satan himself. Honestly, if you've not seen Tony Blair lately, have a look. The guy looks like the devil. I shit you not. And yeah, he does. Certainly. And yeah, I would agree. I would certainly agree. And I think you can try and hide a lot of things as much as you like, but there's some things that you will not be able to hide, and it'll come out. It'll fucking come out eventually. And I think Nicola Sturgeon and other politicians, you especially ones like Tony Blair, who's still he's still there in the background, doing different things, talking about the juice, forcing, taking away, advising freedoms being taken away, forcing the juice. He's still there. And long-term entities like this, you can clearly see it. And Nicola Sturgeon is fast becoming one of these entities. And you can now see it in her appearance, her aura, if you like. She is an evil entity. You might have heard my wife laughing. Even she agreed. She's next door watching some nonsense, probably. She wouldn't be watching me. She gets enough of me. That's for sure. So yeah, I think a lot of the stuff, they can't hide it. They truly cannot hide it. And it comes out. And I think if you're a joyful, happy person, I think that'll probably come out in your appearance as well. You can see sometimes like a jolly person, not necessarily a chubby person, because you can think that. But someone who's happy, smiling, a joyful person, they don't look hateful or ooze evilness. But then you look at Tony Blair and Jesus, yeah, well, I would serve time for what Tony Blair's done to the UK, to the world. I mean, hey, Tony Blair's not the only entity. If we were to do what needs to be done, to these entities who have destroyed the world, we're going to need a lot of rope, right? A lot of rope. I shit you not. A lot. Because there is a lot of them. They've sold their souls, if you like, to the devil. And they're willing to get the big balance, the big bank balance, the fancy cars, the mansions, the islands, the anything you want, the key to the world, to basically lead us astray down a path that we may never get back from. The way it's heading now. I mean, like I said earlier on, we're going through another great reset. There's nothing new under the sun. We went, looking at humanity, it's went through it before. Can it be stopped? I doubt it very much. Again, I think emphasis needs to lie on becoming as self-sufficient as you can. Thinking about, if you're living in a big city, come out, get out of it. Honestly. You're going to need to start thinking about not being dependent on supermarkets and these entities that can be gone at the drop of a hat. And hey, they might be eventually. And I know it's not easy. Certainly not easy. I'm quite lucky in the sense of that I've managed to get into quite a decent sized property, a decent sized garden. If you don't know what a garden is, the Americans might not look it up, right? So I'm able to, if needs be, and I am already, I'm growing and stuff like that, trying to, as much as I can, become as self-sufficient as I can. But I can see even further down the line issues with that. I don't know if they'll bring in laws in terms of food. I'd imagine that if you had food in abundance and we were in some sort of rationing situation, they're going to come for it. I'm not talking about the people, the public. I'm talking about the police. I shit you not, they would come and take it because they wouldn't allow you to be feeding anyone else. That won't be able to happen. They simply will not allow that. And they'll have a reason for it. Probably due to some virus. And the only distributors of food will be the official distributors of food. Right? So, you might not be able to provide for a community, but you can certainly, even if you're in a city, you can maybe start growing enough to kind of maybe help at least provide for yourself in terms of food. At least certain veg, herbs, if you like. There's certain ways of growing indoors. Even if you've not got the space, there's certain techniques you can use to adapt to space. Justine, yeah. She'll starve before she eats bugs. Yeah, I know the feeling, right? Yeah. Me and you both. Although in saying that, from what my father taught me, he never, in terms of my dad's upbringing, it was poverty, the worst kind of poverty in the slums of Glasgow in the 1940s. Living in a single end, overcrowded to the max, filthy, unbelievably. I mean, poverty is not the word. And he used to say to me, look, if you were hungry, you would eat anything. And he knew, because he, unfortunately, in his upbringing, he experienced genuine hunger from time to time. A lot of us, we've probably never experienced anything like it, honestly. So I don't know. Maybe I think in the video, the movie Early Warning that we touched on, it said in that even the most hardcore against the government agenda, even they will eventually comply due to starvation. So, I mean, we might not be there yet, but it is heading that way. Like I said, they don't hide it anymore. It is not hidden. It is all there in black and white, what they want to do. Looking at how they want to bring about an alert system, a one world alert system, which will be controlled by who exactly? Well, I just said it. The WHO. Of course, who else, right? Who else would it be? Clowns like this dude. I mean, come on, right? What have they got on this guy that he's been coming out and saying all this insane stuff that he's been saying? He's clearly been a naughty boy, right? They've got a lot of dirt on him. Fucking all the lies that he's told. Although, to be honest, if you go back to the very beginning of the pandemic, what he said is that the COVID SARS-2 situation could now be characterized, yeah, as a pandemic. Characterized as, I can't even say it. Ah, man, it's late. So, is it or wasn't it a pandemic then? It is if you want it to be, and it's not if you don't want it to be. I thought it was a very interesting sort of phrase and word to use at the very start. And again, this is a red flag, always a red flag. At the very, very beginning of any constructed narrative, there will be confusion from the off. And that word characterized, if you can say it, was there in the confusion. Well, was it or wasn't it? I mean, if it was an effing pandemic, surely there would be no maybe not about it. But of course, in my opinion, there clearly wasn't. But we might now be. We might now be in a bloody pandemic of sorts. And you know what? You'll know what I'm talking about there, right? I'm seeing a lot of deaths at the moment, locally. And with people that are not so, I mean, they're old, but they're not old. They're like 40s, 50s. Heart attacks, strokes, through the roof, you name it. Unbelievable. Kind of staggering how people still can't see what's going on, but there you go. We'll keep going, we'll keep fighting, right? So, you'll eat bugs and be happy. Yeah, Klaus Schwab, right? Another guy, Jesus, what has he done? They must have a lot of dirt on him. Although he seems to get a kick from it. I dread to think of what this guy got up to, the guy in the photo, the WHO guy. I always forget his name. Anyway, a massive thank you to everyone who joined tonight. We went about 3 hours, so I do apologise, but quite a lot to get into. Hello to Jacqueline. Yeah, the Midazolam. Is that the? I think I've heard about that one. Is that the one in the care homes that they've been using? I always get confused. I always get that confused with another drug that gets mentioned quite a lot. And people say, well, this is what you take to cure such and such. I've got to watch what I'm saying. We're in dangerous territory now. This is what you take, and I always find that very suspicious as well. And I kind of always like to warn people, look, if someone pops out saying, look, this is actually what you've got to take, be wary of that. Because you might be shooting yourself in the foot again. Stick to what you know. And if you can, stay away from anything that's related to the pharmaceutical industry. And I know that's hard, especially for Americans. They seem to be I mean, medication seems to be a normal thing in America. It seems to be the norm for people. They take, I mean, I could be wrong, but from what I can gather, it seems to be a normal thing to take medication. And it is for a lot of people in the UK as well. Don't get me wrong. Even in Scotland, it's probably really bad in Scotland. I've seen it with my own eyes, even at a young age. And I mentioned that before. I got a bit of a shock when one of my dad's friends, a lady, I seen the medication that she had to take, and it was about 4 different tablets a day. And she had a big box that had every day of the month. And I thought, wow, she takes that a month. And that kind of freaked me out a bit, to be honest. I always thought that I'd hate to be that person, to be relying on these tablets every day. It's quite sad. I'm unsure if the lady's still about today. But in America, it's quite bad. But it's bad here as well. But I think sometimes you've got to kind of push yourself as well over a certain threshold or over a certain pain barrier and just not do it, not be reliant on, I don't know if it's either paracetamol, what's the other one? Ibuprofen, sort of medication that you probably don't need. And I know there is medication that people will certainly need. That's a different story. Of course, I'm not an expert on medication. Far from it. I'm not a doctor. Far from it. Disclaimer, right? Let's get the disclaimers in. If you want to know anything, you've got to go and see that guy there with the glasses who works at the WHO, right? The World Health Organization. We are not worthy. Go to them for all your facts and figures. They wouldn't lie to you. Of course they wouldn't lie to you. Don't be silly, right? So there's your disclaimer. YouTube, put that in your pipe and smoke it, right? I mean, yeah, to be honest, go to the WHO and you'll see it for what it is. A lot of this stuff, they don't even hide it. It's there in black and white. Agenda 2030 is in full swing. Big time. So yeah, crime of the century. I don't think I've heard of it. If I remember, I'll write it down. Actually, while I'm here, crime of the century. And I'll check it out. Do you know this? My memory's that bad. I've maybe watched it, but I just can't remember. That happens. My mind goes to mush. It's all that spraying. Bloody, he's a contrail nut. Maybe me and Bill Cooper, we wouldn't get on. Here's my daughter. What is it, Lola? Daddy's recording.
Can I have juice?
Yeah. Mummy will get you some juice. On you go then. Oh man, my daughter Lola wanting juice. There you go, right? It's quite amazing because for quite a lot of years, my wife and myself, we were unsure if our daughter was going to be able to speak. She couldn't talk. But in the past, well, since we moved here, she started speaking, which has been I don't know. It's like a miracle. Honestly, it's been like a miracle in a sense, and we're very proud of her. And to hear her speak now, it kind of melts my heart, to be honest. And she's wanting juice. She's a wee bugger because she should she should be sleeping in her bed. So we'll let her off because it's the weekend, right? Anyway, that pretty much is it from me and little Lola, the little bugger. But there you go. Thank you again. Let's get rid of this guy. Honestly, I mean, he reminds me of Barack Obama, or is it Barry Soetoro? I think that's Barack Obama's real name, Barry Soetoro, and his husband Michael. How did I do that again? Oh man, I've broke it. There we go. We'll get rid of that. Yeah, sorted. Sorted, mate. There you go. Anyway, now my daughter is Jesus. Now you're asking, right? You don't ask me any questions in regards to age or date of births. I remember I had to fill out a form, and with all three of the children's date of births. Oh my god. I had to text my wife to double check. Honestly. Oh man. Don't tell them that, right? They'll never know, so it's all right. But sometimes I don't know, it's not so much the birthday, but the actual date they were born, the year they were born. What year again? I don't know. I just take a guess, right? That one feels like about there. Maybe it's just me, but when it comes to filling out forms anyway, don't come to me. Honestly, don't come to me. I'll rip it up and put it in the bin. But yeah, I think now she is 9, if I remember correctly. She'll be 10 in December, right? So yeah, I think I've got that correct. Which is great, but for many years, up until only about a year ago, she couldn't talk, not one bit. So it's been it's been amazing. She's been a big inspiration. Both my kids have been serious inspirations with what they've been through, even so young. It's astonishing. I could probably even do a whole show in regards to my daughter's autism, or what they call autism, and my son Billy in regards to his battles and trials and tribulations with cancer and the tumor that he got removed, his kidney getting removed. That was quite a lot. That would be another 3 hours at least going through that. That could be one. It would be quite emotional. So I don't know, but it would be a chance for people to share their stories as well. So, and it's good to hear people's experiences hands on, and it gives us a break from the daily grind of society, if you like. Well, kind of anyway. A break from the Rockefellers, maybe, of sorts, right? Anyway, good to see everyone tonight. Happy weekend, happy Saturday, or Friday, wherever you may be. Good evening, good night, good afternoon, good morning. And hopefully you're feeling good as can be. And you've got to always remember, tomorrow's a new day, right? The sun will rise again, and we live to fight again. One thing about pain is you're still living, you're still kicking, right? That's one my dad used to say as well. Yeah, but you're still alive. So yeah, you're still going. You're not done, right? And we never give up, not 1 second. Nope. We don't even entertain the thought. We'll keep going. We'll keep pushing, right? Every day. we'll keep fighting. We'll try and enjoy ourselves as much as we can. We'll have a laugh, definitely. I think on Sunday or Monday, we're going to get into the unpreviously fought syndrome. It's going to be back again because, believe it or not, the deception continues. All right. And on that note, thank you again to everyone. Anthony, Justine, Naylor, it's Sadak. Good to see you back again. Everyone, right? I'm going to love yous and leave yous. I'll see if I can find a tune. And like I always say, dig deep. If you are ever feeling down, you will have that strength in there. Believe me. You can power through it. You can keep going. If I can, anyone fucking can. I shit you not. And we'll live to fight another day, right? There's plenty fight in you yet, believe me. Honest. We've got a lot to do, right? We're still here. We're still going. Hey, I can tell you this right now. We are here for a reason. I'm unsure as to what that reason might be or is. But there is a reason, right? None of this is by accident. So we'll keep going, right? And like I said, we'll try and at least enjoy what we can. So let me find a tune. What one did I play? I played a new one. I might have to play an old one. Maybe some bagpipes, right? A bit of Roy again. And bagpipes, I think, to go out on. Yeah, we'll go with that, seeing as it's the weekend, right? So, a massive thank you to everyone who's jumped in tonight. And like I always say, dig deep, stay strong, keep your eyes peeled. Never give up. Don't even think about it. Honestly, life is too short. We've got too much to do. Right? So, I'll be back again on the either Sunday night late or Monday about 9:30. Usually is about the time for live streams at the moment, for me at least. So, until then, have a good weekend. In fact, have a great weekend. Get out there, have a bit of fun, and whatever you do, do not comply. And that is about it. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. A candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night just to sprinkle stardust and to whisper, go to sleep, everything is all right. I close my eyes, then I drift away into the magic night. I softly say a silent prayer like dreamers do. Then I fall asleep to dream my dreams of you. In dreams I walk with you. In dreams I talk to you. In dreams you're mine. All the time we're together. In dreams, but just before the dawn, I awake and find you gone. I can't help it. I can't help it. if I cry.